night, windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, TCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, TCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in. I'm in a race that everybody's chasing fast. They wanna be that someone on the screen at last. They ain't looking inside for their needs in life. They wanna be liked by everybody in sight. But trust me, being free ain't spotlights. No, it's long nights and it's long fights with yourself all the time to get your mind right. But if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more.
Oh, welcome, ladies and gents, for our brief hiatus over Thanksgiving. So, first and foremost, I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you're all sort of rolling in to the festive period. Do apologise that we had to take that brief hiatus, but look, it is what it is. I've got to give the guys on the panel a little bit of a break here and there, but we're back with episode number 82 of the Hcast, your favorite podcast. So I do appreciate you all rolling in and enjoying, for some of you, the first time watching the new intro on the show. So for those that haven't seen it the last time we were here, hopefully you liked it, because yeah, I think it's bloody cool, to be honest. And massive shout out to Culture for putting that together. We're slowly working on, improving some bits and pieces to make this podcast as presentable and, as good as we think it can be for you guys. So a few bits and pieces to get out of the way. We've got loads of topics today, a shit ton. I say and more. Normally at the end of these podcast titles like and more, I'm like, there's like two. We got loads. We've got loads to talk about. So buckle up, Milados. We're going to roll in. But a few things. Please
Milados, what?
Milados. Yeah, Milados. Anyway, please do hit that thumbs up button on your way in here, ladies and gents. Please do, if you want to join in the conversation or just support the show, send in a super chat. We get heavy demonetization here. So super chats are a great way to support the show, but then also to get your question, comment, whatever it is you want spoken about with a live panel. And we've got a fantastic panel. I'm joined by Culture Casino and Tom from Midnight's Edge, and we will be joined by Nick from Echo Base Network. How are you guys doing? Are you all right? Did you have a good holiday period?
Oh yeah, I love Thanksgiving. I had a great time. I'm grateful for the family and the people that I have in my life, and I'm grateful for this entire audience watching their favorite podcast right now.
That's you.
What?
That's you.
And you.
What did you?
And you.
What did you get up to? What did you get up to, Tom?
I made turkey. I was sad because I went to Walmart and I'm like, don't you guys have the turkey loaves anymore in little pans?
Turkey
like, well,
loaf?
this is all they have. Yeah, it's just, I wanted to do a proper, sad, pathetic bachelor type Thanksgiving thing, and they didn't have it. So I got stuck doing regular turkey, but I was like, okay.
I was going to have to actually cook properly then.
Sort of, yeah, basically. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, I mean, it's the same process, just a better result on the other end. I
Right.
guess.
Which one?
What?
The sad bachelor one or the proper one?
They didn't have it. I was upset. And that's what I said to her. I said, how can I?
Which one was the... Oh my God. Keep track of your own conversation, Tom. Which produces the better one at the end?
Yeah, what's the better result?
Oh,
Sad?
well, that's what I was just saying. Even though the sad, pathetic one would have been nice to have just because it's a salty treat and it's bad for me. The other one is good for me, yes. Yeah.
Right.
Or better.
Well, we want things to be good for you, Tom.
Yes.
So,
like this program.
just like this podcast is good for you guys, rolling in to the chat here. So, first things first, if you want to, again, super chats are a great way to support the show itself, but memberships are a really good way as well. Become a member. And in fact, the reason why I'm saying that is because every single month you do get a free super chat. And we got one from Al Humphreys here. And it says, has anyone on the panel seen 13 Lives? The film about the football team from Thailand stuck in the cave. It's an amazing film. I have not seen that at all. I've heard about it. Isn't that on Netflix?
I was going to say, I think that's a Netflix movie or something like that. I haven't seen it, though.
It could depend on like what part of the world you're in, though. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's one of their like universal releases that they're just like everything gets it. You know, everyone gets it. I could be wrong, but yeah, no, I've not caught that. One thing I will recommend to everyone. This is an H recommends breaking news. H recommends. I highly recommend anyone to go and watch The Bear. So The Bear is on FX and Hulu, or FX or Hulu, Hulu and FX, whatever it is. Very, very good show. Kind of cooking based, but kind of not. Bit sitcomish, but kind of not. Shot expertly well. It's a fantastic show. I binged it in about 3 days. Yeah, brilliant. Huge recommendation from me. And they've just announced that they're coming back with a 3rd season. So I'm all ears for that. I cannot bloody wait. The Bear. Go and watch it. And people have been talking about Blue Eye Samurai. I caught a little bit of the teaser for that. Didn't massively grab me, so I wasn't that interested. But look, you know, it is what it is. I shall try and watch it because loads of people want me to review it. It seems.
I will be seeing Godzilla -1 tomorrow.
Well, hashtag me too.
Go away, you bunch of wankers. Because I can't watch it. It's not out yet.
I'm seeing it on a real legitimate IMAX screen.
Oh, really? Very nice. Good. I hate you.
Okay.
Hate you guys. No, honestly, that's really good. We'll get. Are you watching it as well, Tom?
Yep. Yeah. About this time tomorrow, I should be knee deep in Godzilla.
Yep.
Perfect. So we'll get your reviews on Thursday's show. We'll get that stinger ready, Culture. We'll get.
I will. Dude, I was already trying to find assets so I can do a 3D one. So.
Yeah, no, honestly. So funny for you guys as well listening. Obviously, we're having a bit of a conversation as well, but for you guys listening, this is important. So I actually can't get a screening for it. Like I can't. Like it's out in like 2 weeks, right, in the UK, and I can't. It's all fully booked. And because the thing is, it's only available in certain places that are kind of, you know, within my vicinity. Otherwise I've got to travel like 2 hours, and I can't travel 2 hours because it opens on a Friday, and that weekend, the Saturday, I've got to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to London to do my master's degree. Yeah. So it's become a really big, massive, difficult thing to try and watch this goddamn film, which I'm really excited about. And I really want to watch it. So at the moment, basically, I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it opening weekend, and I'm quite upset about that. Quite upset indeed. But
I'm sorry.
Hey, well, I will live vicariously through you guys with your review.
I will give you no spoilers. I will just give you the unvarnished opinion that I have. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've already kind of gotten some spoilers anyway.
I figured.
I had some of the spoilers. Basically, I had some of the leaks debunked. That was the spoilers that were given to me, which is fine by me. That's fine. It doesn't really tell me what actually happened specifically, but it tells me that the leaks were wrong, which that's fine. Like I'm happy with that. That's cool, basically. But anyway, it'll be interesting. You know, I'm going to try and watch it ASAP. Whenever I'm able to do that.
It
But I'm pretty
sucks, dude.
pissed.
I feel bad now.
I'm
I
pretty
shouldn't have said anything.
It's all good. And for those that follow me over on Instagram, you guys would have seen. Here's some good news. You guys would have seen a car purchase that has just come back from paint and is waiting to be shipped over. So that's I think did I upload a picture? Oh, I did. So it's this.
Nice.
This is a 1975 Toyota Corolla. That is a Corolla.
I love it.
So back when Toyota Corollas were cool, before they made the GR Corolla, that is. Anyway, so but I don't have that yet. That's my like Christmas present, birthday present, my Christmas present, my birthday present again for like the next couple of years.
It's like 2 years worth of gifts.
Well, it is like no, it's probably like four. That's like I'm gonna be a hermit now moving forwards, but I'll be a hermit with a cool car. So there's that. Anyway, shuffling on, ladies and gents, we've got some super chats to get to. So thank you so much for dropping them in. We will obviously get to one of our main topics in a moment, but we haven't spoken for a while, so we've got to catch up a little bit here. And
a little bit.
You obviously enjoy this as well, I'm sure. So Tom Workin sent him $5 and says, overworked effects artist said, stayed storytelling and catering. What's your remedy to this era? So I don't know the middle part of what you just said there, buddy. But overworked visual effects artists are a pretty major thing in the industry. I think they're almost trying to remedy it themselves because they're unionizing.
Yeah.
I guess that's the remedy at this point, which I don't know whether I'm massively for unions because sometimes, I mean, they don't have sometimes the union genuinely doesn't have the best interest of the union members at heart. Like, I think that's pretty apparent.
Sometimes.
Yeah, most of the time. But you know, but I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. Realistically, you know, the market needs to dictate and provide control to these individuals, but it often doesn't. And not only that as well, a lot of the visual effects artists are working from effects houses, and so it's their bosses that are devaluing their own product actually by allowing the studios to walk all over them. If all of the visual effects houses teamed up and was like, let's not accept this, let's not accept this, let's not accept this, the studios would have no one else to go to, and they'd have to not overwork everyone and not, you know, do last minute changes and last minute this and last minute that. That's my 2 cents. What about you?
I agree with you. I mean, you know, the marketplace always dictates the value of the work, or it should. One of the problems is the unions are always representing themselves and the opportunity to gain more power. At least in these particular unions, trade unions outside of that, like construction, you know, electrics and all that, that's completely different. But when you look at the actors, writers, those things, you see a huge disparity, which is what they've been trying to address through the strikes. But storytelling became bad because they were getting rid of quality writers in favor of cheaper writers and inexperienced writers, meritless writers. And so, you know, people that we know write good material couldn't get jobs anymore. You know, and also they had the wrong think, which didn't help. Catering's always going to go up because their prices are linked directly to the cost of requiring foodstuffs. I mean, you know, you also have to have, you know, the people that prepare and maintain the food at proper temperature, et cetera. And those labor costs are always going to increase. But to the effects artist conversation, that's going to work to some extent for in-house artists. Yes, at least at Disney and a few other places. But the problem is they can always go to the outside, as you mentioned, and you can have effects houses that are working in, you know, India that are way cheaper than what you can find, you know, in the States or even in the UK. The UK, this is a really interesting thing. A lot of people may not realize the UK has some of the best artisans in all fields when it comes to studio. Would you stop it? It's true.
Well, we do.
You guys,
It's true.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
true.
I mean, stellar filmmaking is done in the UK. You also underwrite all of the woke content through your lovely taxes.
I
Thank you
know
very
that's
much.
gone up as well.
Yeah,
They're giving a bigger tax break now.
yeah. And
Fucking wankers.
it's gonna. You guys are
My money.
underwriting. Yeah, but
My tax.
here
Wankers.
as of the end of 2022, you guys had contributed about $52 to $57 million equivalent in paying for the Marvels, and we don't even know exactly how much you really paid for it yet. We won't know until Companies
know.
House.
It's depressing. It is incredibly
Right.
depressing. But never mind. Let's shuffle on real
Oh
quick.
yeah, yeah. We didn't answer the
So we're
question.
accident seller here for 100 Norwegian kroner. Says the Doctor's insert in the end aside. I just saw Doctor Who and Adventure in Space and Time, a biopic episode about Hartnell's Who days. Wonderful episode. I could tell it was filmed in 2013 before this woke. That is true.
Oh, yeah.
It is only generally this stuff has started appearing in the last 10 years, which takes us very, very, very nicely off to our next topic, or our first topic, should I say. Let's go. Yes, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Doctor Who has returned with the 60th anniversary episodes, and they're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. I don't care about Doctor Who. I enjoyed it when it came back, and it was Eccleston, Matt Smith, David Tennant, people like this. They were good. Like they were good episodes. I enjoyed those episodes. But it's come back. It went way off the deep end. It came back, and I was only aware that this thing even happened because Star Beast was trending on Twitter. Now, Star Beast was the original title for Alien at one point. So I was like, Star Beast? Yeah, man. Click on it. And then it comes up with this weird BBC Doctor Who after party thing where what's his face is discussing dead naming. And I'm like, what the fuck? This ain't Alien. This ain't no Star Beast that I know about. Turns out Doctor Who had an episode called The Star Beast. And it was pretty big on lecturing and people hate it, ladies and gents. People hate it. And people are going, it's being review bombed. No, it's not. It's not at all, because we're going to get into some of those reviews. Those reviews are really quite articulate. They are eloquently rip apart Doctor Who in a fantastic fashion. So we're going to get into all of this. What's everyone's association with Doctor Who? Do we know about this yet? Are you aware of this nonsense that occurred with this current episode? Culture, Tom, what do you reckon?
I am not a Whovian, so go ahead.
Well, and Spencer here does a great job with the article, but yeah, you've got a pronoun. You've got the Doctor being chastised for being a pronoun, but not using proper pronouns. You had people calling oh gosh, I forget her name's Adonna's daughter, I believe, which of course is a person that is no longer what they were changed their sex. Yeah. I'm being careful.
I know.
But that there was constant, praise of just how beautiful they were, et cetera, and how great they were, et cetera, et cetera. The whole thing. I mean, like 7 or 8 references to that. But it was really all woke themed, intersectional feminism themed, and ultimately, again, the Doctor ends up looking like a fool. And again, he's being lectured for being cis white male.
Fantastic, love it.
But
I think the funny thing is about all of that is he's being introduced to these concepts, and actually, if you knew anything about the Doctor, he would already know these concepts.
Yes,
he's like, he has omniscience, almost, right? So he wouldn't be like, oh, what's that? He'd be like, yeah, I know what that is. I encountered it when I was on this jaunt across this time and space. But no, apparently not. So no, let's take a look, ladies and gents. Let's take a look. So Doctor Who dives off the progressive deep end. As the latest special sees the Doctor lectured on pronouns, chastised for being male presenting. That's right. You can't even look like a bloke anymore. Just as a side note, ladies and gents, and there are some women that like to frequent this podcast, it's okay to be a man. Like, it's fine. It's good to be a man. Embrace your masculinity. And I sincerely do mean that. Not, slight tangent, but not the men, what is it, MG Tau, whatever it is. You know, is that what it is?
MGTOW.
You're muted culture.
Oh, MGTOW. It's men going their own way. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't embrace that element, or the sort of egotistical posturing element of masculinity, which means which is quite comical because I just showed you my car, but I've got all these nice fancy cars and blah blah blah, all this kind of. Don't embrace that. Just be a proper man. It's fine to be a man. Anyway, I'm moving on a little bit. Let's go. So
I don't need no woman because I got better things to do right now. I would like to have a woman once in a while, and I try to do that, but you know,
eat your Walmart
I don't need
turkey.
shit.
Is that what
exactly? I'll go get Walmart turkey.
Okay. Well, anyway, look,
I'm not gonna. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look. So, titled "The Star Beast," which again was a reference. I thought was I thought Twitter was talking about Alien, but apparently not. So Star Beast is the first of these 60th anniversaries, making its BBC debut November 25th, otherwise known as the series' 60th anniversary. The Doctor's latest adventure centered on the mystery raised in the previous special, The Power of the Doctor, regarding the titular protagonist's till then unheard of regeneration into a previous incarnation. So featuring the return of David Tennant. This was just bait. It was like, please, bait. Just please watch me. That's all they did. And it was massive bait. So David Tennant came back, and we had Catherine Tate, who doesn't remember her time at his side. So further to the Doctor's confusion is the fact that Donna and her husband Sean Temple are now parents, as he soon makes the acquaintance of their male to non-binary female presenting transgender daughter, Rose.
Yes. And that's a mouthful.
Are you fucking for real? Was that actually what it was?
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to say. You know,
male to non-binary female presenting
transgender daughter. Yes.
What the fuck is even that?
That doesn't make any sense. That is a whole bunch. You know when we
male to non-binary female presenting transgender daughter.
One at a time. There used to be a thing in the English language which was a double negative, you know, where you'd say something and it obviously cancels itself out, so then it becomes on. This is a double negative. What the fuck? Tom, go.
Well, I was going to say, this entire time, every time I try to talk, I get interrupted. But yeah, no, at this point, I don't give a shit. I don't even remember what the fuck I was going to say. It's just, it's such fucking nonsense. Yeah,
I think there's a delay, buddy. Yeah, this is nonsense. So portrayed by actress Yasmin Finney. So notably, Rose's transgender identity is confirmed by a scene near the beginning of the episode. Of course it is. Therein, while helping her mother carry some items from their car into their home, Rose is mockingly catcalled by a pair of passing young men with the use of her original name, Jason. Oi, Jason, you're right. Looking good, Jason. And this was part of the BBC thing that I watched, was the whatever his face is, the writer was talking about, well, Jason actually means this and actually means that. And it's like, so you're praising the name, but then you didn't use it anyway. So I'm confused with where your motives lie in all of this. It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, from there, mother gets all mental, etc. And then before he can discover any answers to either mystery, the Doctor, Donna, and Rose are caught up in the universe-conquering machinations of a small white furred creature known as the Beep of all the Meep. Which is that a riff on what Gina Carano did? Maybe beep bop boop.
I don't think so. I think it's coincidental.
No, that just sounds like a fucking British thing.
Well, I mean,
that's not British. But
the beep of the meep. It's the topmost of the poppermost. That kind of crap. Okay, sorry.
This comes from a comic book, by the way. The Beast comes from a comic book, a Doctor Who comic.
Yeah. So, believing the Meep to be a simple sacred creature, the Doctor proceeds to offer him its assistance in returning home, declaring to Donna and her confused family, yes, the Meep, I promise I can help him get home. then you'll never see me again. However, this declaration catches the attention of Rose, the male to non-binary transgender female presenting person, who proceeds to passively aggressive chastise the Doctor. You're assuming he is a pronoun.
Boy, do I hate this dumb, stupid, moronic period.
Why the fuck is this in Doctor Who?
It's a good question.
In turn, the Doctor affirms, true, yes, sorry, good point, before proceeding to ask the creature, are you a he or a she or a they? Or maybe it's just a fucking alien, so it doesn't have anything. My chosen pronoun is the definite article. I am always the meep. Yeah, exactly.
Why would it even know what a... I give up.
Me too.
Yeah. That's my stance as well, to be honest. From there, after being unwittingly tricked by the Meep's meek act into aiding in its plans, the Doctor, Donna, Rose, and Sean find themselves taken prisoner by the creature's forces. But in a shocking twist, while attempting to escape from captivity and stop the Meep, the Doctor discovers, and buckle up non-Whovians, as this section gets a little hard to follow if you're unfamiliar with the series, that not only was the half-human, half-Gallifreyan entity known as Dr. Donna still present within Donna's mind and preventing her from accessing her full memories, but that a portion of the human Time Lord meta-crisis energies which originally birthed her had been biologically passed on to Rose.
Of course.
Upon this realization, in a callback to his earlier scolding, the Doctor and Donna come to realize that the reason Rose was able to receive the meta-crisis energies was thanks to her non-binary identity. Because like her, the Doctor is male and female.
There you go.
Realizing that the entity's extra brain power could be the key to defeating the Meep, the Doctor then proceeds to unlock the power of Dr. Donna from within both Donna and Rose's mind, allowing them both to access individual and separate parts of the vast knowledge and processing power possessed by the collective.
This show's dead.
What the piss, mate?
Yeah.
And then what's this? We know everything, thanks. Rose then chimes in.
And then they say, you know nothing. There it is.
And you know nothing.
Yeah. I lost my stuff, man. I'm like, okay, this is, yeah.
It's a shame you're not a woman anymore, because she'd have understood. Piss
Just
off,
demeaning.
BBC.
Just
And this,
demeaning.
ladies and gents, is why the people don't pay their TV license in the UK anymore. We've got all the power, but there is a way to get rid of it, explains Rose. Something a male presenting Time Lord will never understand. But But he is both male and female.
Don't even get me started, dude.
What?
The machinations they have to go through to try to make any of this dumb crap identitarian.
This is insane. So anyway, naturally, people didn't like this. If you can believe it, ladies and gents in the chat, they didn't like it. They didn't like it. Can you believe it? The bigots, the racists, the phobes, the whatever you want to call it. They're just bigots. Of course they are. And then they took to Rotten Tomatoes and they review bombed with very well thought out reviews. So let's take a look at some of them. I mean, what a review bomb this is. I mean, goddamn, so much there. It could have gotten back to its roots and again back trust to their audience if Disney wasn't involved and the people who made this shoehorned the message, because now it showed to be a pandered mess. And that whole thing from the past that had a bittersweet end, that if she remembered the Doctor, she might not make it. This gives the past a middle finger. God, what a review bomb. What a review bomb. What a bigot. Because those powers she had also transferred to her daughter, which is also the show's message, they think was smart. But now it's just annoying. I do not recommend watching this. Doctor Who as a franchise is dead thanks to these guys, both Disney and BBC.
Yep.
Pandaverse was right. What a shame. A real new rock bottom to the show. I mean, there's copious amounts of this. There are some people that liked it, but the thing is, not many people did, because obviously it's got like a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. And people lost their collective mind saying that it got review bombed. And if you go to Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, people are like, pronouns and right wingers. Am I right? Enjoy all 12 of you watching this complete bag of shit show then, because it's going to end. Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it whilst it lasts. You're not consumers. You don't consume shit. So, yeah, enjoy the sweet demise, I guess, if that's really what you want. Anyway. Thoughts? Tom, I won't talk. I know there's a delay. What do you think, mate?
I really have very little to say about, this whole thing with Doctor Who, because I'm not a Whovian, but I'm not surprised considering this was one of the franchises that was most likely to double down on the stupid, I guess. I mean, let's be real. Other than that, yeah, I mean, what else can I say? Sorry to the Who fans.
I was hoping for a big rant from you, Tom.
I wish I had something to go on here. I mean,
you know what though? I think you perfectly sum up what most people feel now: apathy. Yeah. I've been saying for ages about Star Wars, Marvel, everything. Apathy. Just don't.
I've just never really been a fan to begin with. That's part of it. So, I mean, I thought it was okay. I've seen it from time to time on PBS as a kid, but it's such a hard entry point show because there's so many that I just don't even know where to start or where to begin or any of that. And then just with all the more modern stuff that I hear about, it's like, why even bother? You know, this kind of a thing is just a turn off to even. And that, I mean, I guess that's where I can come from. Like you said, as far as somebody who's even a somewhat casual fan who may even think about getting into the show or the franchise, the modern stuff is just making me go, fuck that. I don't want to get into that. It's the same thing that happened with Game of Thrones. Like, I was waiting for the show to be pretty much over with before I started binging it. And then the way the last season went and the fans reacted, that just turned me off from the idea of it altogether. So it's the same kind of thing here. It's gotten to a point where I mean, considering what we do here, I probably should get into Doctor Who, but what's the point at this point? Right? It's done for. I mean,
you probably shouldn't, mate. I don't watch it. I don't care. I'm done with it. So no, I think.
Why torture myself with that, right?
Yeah, true. Very true. Culture. Come on now.
Doctor Who's been dead since 2017. So it kind of had started to decay anyway. I've it's not because it couldn't be done well, it's because it stopped being done well. And now it's trapped in the garbage that it was for the last 5-6 years now. I don't know. There's no way out. I mean, you just brought back the guy that everybody thought was going to be the savior, and he backed up a dump truck full of dung and lit it on fire. So I mean, I can't get worked up about it anymore because I already was, years ago when it started to do this. So, and you're right. I mean, apathy is the worst emotion a fan community can feel for a product, because basically it means you've killed their fanaticism, their appreciation, their joy, their exuberance. And
it's the worst thing entertainment can elicit as a response. Apathy.
Yeah. And I mean, this isn't the only thing that's done it. I mean, look at all the other franchises we've lost, as Tom was pointing out. I mean, it's like, Star Wars is dead, Marvel's dying, if not already dead.
I called it indoctrination. Who?
Yeah, I like that. Ooh. Oh dear. Right. Well, let's shuffle on to some of these super chats, and then we'll get to our next topic. So we've got Larry Quadowitz dropping in here. It says for $10, hey, Mr. H, Tom and Culture, just finished Gen V, and the end was pretty epic. Have you watched it? Also, here's your reminder to check out The Pale Blue Eye, a great historical fiction featuring Edgar Allan Poe. I can't remember. Did you mention that before? I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
I did watch all of Gen V. Yeah, I don't know really. I watched it a while ago and it's not stuck with me, so it can't. Yeah, I don't know whether I thought it was that good now. To be fair, because I remember it was all right. It was just all right. I think a lot of these, there's an oversaturation with these superhero things now. For me, even if they're good, they're still. Yeah, I've kind of had enough.
It's
Thoughts?
possible. I wrote down the Pale Blue Eye. I haven't had a chance to get to it yet, but it was very intriguing. So I am looking forward to watching it. But as far as Gen
Mm,
V, I was never going to get into that in the first place.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean,
That's fair enough.
right now I'm having a difficulty just keeping up with the stuff I definitely have to cover. You know,
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair. Yeah, same as me. To watch something just for myself now is time. That's why why the bear. Like I was so into it. It was anyway. It was good. Tom, Gen V. I'm assuming no.
he's dead.
Tom's dead.
No,
Moving
I'm
on.
not even. I don't know anything about it. Sorry.
All right, no worries. So accidents for 20 Norwegian kroner. So 2023, DW turned into Dick Tor. Who? Fuck yes. About right, mate. About
The
right. Monk
Doctrination
vodka for
Who?
£10. Says, I remember Doctor Who and Star Trek first coming to Polish TV after communism fell. I love the old shows, amazing sci-fi and so many interesting stories. I despise what these shows have become. Yeah, because it's, they are now just vehicles for the message. Whereas before, you could tell a good story and have, a moralistic outcome within the story itself. Now it's just message first, story third, if that at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ethan Van Sciver kind of said it best, especially when it comes to like superheroes, for instance. He goes, and this can kind of be uh, put towards a lot of these franchises. Like when they do come up with a new character or they try to, recreate an old character, all they do is the first thing they key in on is what kind of race slash sex slash whatever they're going to be ism in this thing now, right? Instead of concentrating on the other things that are more important first. And I mean, he had a more nuanced take on it, but again, it applies here, right? Because that's all they do. They're not really, they
Yeah.
act like they're reinventing it, right? Like they're reinventing the wheel. No, you're not. You're not doing anything that nobody has done before. Especially you go back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They love to act like this is something brand new that they've discovered. It's like, no, we've all seen the fucking Wiz. We've all seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. You're not, you didn't discover America. I'm sorry. You're not Christopher Columbus, right? In fact,
Yeah.
Leif Erikson beat you here a long time ago, right? This is done and over with. You've had your shot to try and show us what you could do. You blew it. You have destroyed almost every single major franchise there is out there. In fact, the only one or twos that we can actually point to are like The Conjuring and Cobra Kai, and that's about it. There's a few other maybe random smaller ones that we could, bring. One Piece is another big one from this last year that seems to have understood its audience, right? Like, or not only did it understand its audience, it knew a way to at least make a lot of them happy while bringing in a whole lot of new people, right? That's the thing I noticed with One Piece was it brought in a lot of new people, and that's something these other franchises are not doing, right? And I've been getting not so much bombarded, but there's been like probably 5 or 6 people with sock puppet accounts and a few people that were involved with the show and stuff like that have been coming after me lately over my take on Mystery Science Theater. Yeah, and this is just another great example of the whole kind of situation we're in with all these fucking franchises. They're not, and all I had to do, I didn't even have to say it was woke. It's failing beyond the woke. It's because they're asking too much of their audience. They're making too many changes, and that's what people don't want. So, and I'm not saying people don't want new things in their franchises. They do, but they don't want you to take Superman and turn him into an Asian black gay woman, like or Blasian, isn't that what that's called? Okay, a Blasian gay woman. Because that's the other thing I'm confused about now, and I'm learning every day is that I thought you had to be a guy to be gay, but evidently not. So like they change the definitions daily, and that's what this whole woke game is about: is to keep you in a position to where they can put you in a position where you can be, talked down to, attacked, treated like shit, made to look like some sort of asshole or whatever it is, insert here, all over a fucking TV show or a movie. And it's like, you know what? Go
Yeah.
fuck yourself. I don't owe them shit, right? They owe me, if anything, right?
Well, they do as a fan, as a consumer, customer. Yeah, they do. They do owe you, and they should be trying to please that sort of
I'm not
debt.
obligated to consume their shit. Exactly.
No, exactly.
And that kind of goes with
Absolutely.
this whole idea of Doctor Who and all these other things that I don't really get into. Why would I waste my time? Same thing with Star Trek. I really got to the point where it was kind of a joke with Andre, but no, I seriously took him aside and I said, look, I am not going to fucking force myself to watch this shit no more. It is like
Yeah.
detrimental to my mental health, right? Like in a real way. So yeah, I just, after a while, I just kind of just, as soon as I hear anything like that, even remotely, or get a sniff of woke, I just turn
Yeah.
away, click it off, do whatever, So anyway.
No, that's fair point. We got a super sticker from I always get your bloody name wrong and I always feel bad. So I'll just go with Ali. Thank you so much, my dude. So for £5 super sticker, thank you so much. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the show, one and all. And we've got Tom working here for $2. Says, what an awesome time period we're in. Rad. Yeah, barely a time period at this point, I think. I hate it. It's terrible. And we got one more before we shuffle on to our next topic. So Zodlander, I don't know what this is. What's this?
It's a great name.
Yeah, but what's
Swiss krona?
okay.
Yeah, I think, or Swedish krona. It's a
Swedish
krona.
krona. 100 Swedish krona, we think. Says, I actually wanted to see a female doctor, but they effed it up. And now I'm happy that I stopped watching after Capaldi. And as a Swedish, and I get the frustration of over taxes going to this crap. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, you know what's even funnier is that they told Whoopi Goldberg no. They could have had a black female Doctor Who a while ago.
Yeah.
And she wanted to. And they said no.
Love it. Right, well, ladies and gents, so again, as we sort of cruise through here, you want to join in the conversation, super chats are the way to do it. We get heavy demonetization here, so it supports the show an awful lot. Super chats are the way to go. But ladies and gents, let's shuffle on.
Oh no, not Tonka Water Park.
Well, he's come out and basically blacklisted himself from Marvel.
Gay? Oh, never mind. Sorry, I didn't listen enough.
Taika Waititi had no interest in directing a Marvel movie. Took Thor Ragnarok because he was poor, and it was a great opportunity to feed his kids. And he says Marvel must have been desperate. What the fuck? I mean, look, it's very evident that this was the case. But oh my god, he's come out and admitted.
And this isn't even the best part of this whole thing yet. But yeah.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, he goes, you know what? I had no interest in doing one of those films. It wasn't on my plan for my career as an auteur, but I was poor and I just had a second child. And I thought, you know what? This would be a great opportunity to feed these children.
Okay, stop right there. He's calling himself an auteur. That's strike number one.
Yeah, I mean, some would argue he is a little bit in some regards. It's a bit.
He's a comedic director.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Well, anyway, still, there's more. And Thor, let's face it, it was probably the least popular franchise. I never read Thor comics as a kid. That was the comic I'd pick up and be like, And then I did some research on it, and I read I read one Thor comic, or 18 pages, or however long they are. I was still baffled by this character. That was his research, by the way. When asked if Marvel executives were scared to bring him in, Waititi answered, I think there was no place for them to go with that. I thought, well, they've called me in. This is really the bottom of the barrel.
I'll give him half a point back for that because he's putting himself down there.
So I mean, that's it. That's the news. I take it. What thoughts? Because he's blacklisted himself.
He just gutted Marvel. I mean, what? Holy cow.
No, that was a crack on himself.
No. Well,
yes, it was. Reaching the bottom of the barrel is him. Okay, because this is what's funny though, is because keep going with the quote, because he may be sounding humble right now, but boy, is he sure of him. He's so full of himself coming up here.
No, that was all of it. That wasn't anymore.
Oh, there was more to this than they must not have it all in here, because
what's the other one then?
there's more to the quote where he says that basically he talks about Thor like he's like, oh, I don't care if somebody else comes on and takes it on. I would love to see somebody else take it. It's like he created it or some shit. Like he has some fucking ownership over Thor. And I'm like, where is this guy coming off?
Yeah, I think that was a different interview. So that's that bit here where he's like,
there it is, right here. Yeah, yeah.
Like if they want to see other people, I'm happy for that. I still get back into bed with them one day.
It's like, who the fuck do you think you are? You are the third director to come in and direct a Thor film, dude. But
you said, okay, let me make my point. He said they've reached the bottom of the barrel, understanding that they couldn't get somebody else that was good to direct the film. So not only is he putting himself down, he's wrecking Thor. Like people didn't want to be involved with Thor, or possibly even
boring characters.
Yeah, and I'm like going, yeah, this guy may never work for Marvel again. If they're worth their salt, they'll probably just say, you know what, you ain't coming back.
I mean, I will give him. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, do you not think this is because they've already told him he's not coming back?
Yeah, I think that's kind of obvious.
Well, the last film was just.
I mean, we've known this for a while. First of all, I think first of all, the box office was our first indication.
Yeah,
this either was never going to get another sequel, or he was definitely not going to direct another one. Yeah. And then you had where basically Chris Hemsworth himself come out and said that he's not going to work with any more wacky directors. Who the fuck do you think he was talking about?
Well, he said very specifically, I cringe at it as well.
Exactly. That's my point. So right there is your main star saying, I'm not going to work with that guy no more. So whatever happened on the last film, they just didn't work well together or whatever. And I think part of it is just because the choices that this guy made. And I mean, I had an interview. It's a really horrible clip because you can't really hear him say it. But they're in the midst of this interview, and Taika says, I sacrificed the story for jokes. And then like Hemsworth's like, is that true? He's like, yeah, totally. And like they're talking over each other. So it's really a horrible clip to clip. But yeah, it's like that encapsulates the whole experience of Thor: Love and Thunder, which sucks because I actually am a champion of Ragnarok. I enjoyed Ragnarok a lot. It is up there in my most watched Marvel movies. I just love it as a guilty pleasure. Yeah, it's fun. I love the Hulk. That's another reason why I like it. I like what they did with Chris Hemsworth's character. I like taking it a little bit more back to the humor side of it, like Branagh did in the first film. It wasn't so dark, deep, and dour and depressing like the second film was. We didn't have to deal with the fucking Jane bullshit again, And then we get to the Love and Thunder, and it's supposed to be a comedy about cancer, and it's like these characters. First of all, okay, you get them back together, but they never really get a real good reconciliation, right? And beyond that, the whole story is just meandering through joke after joke after joke scene when they're trying to deal with what could have been an interesting villain, right? Somebody who actually could have been.
Oh, they destroyed that villain.
Well, you look at it this way: he's technically, in quotations, technically somebody who's more of a adversary for Thor than Thanos ever could be, because Thor could kill Thanos. He couldn't. See, on the other hand, even though he could technically kill, Christian Bale's character, forget the character's name offhand, but the God Killer, he could kill him with that sword or whatever. So that's like the whole point is like, this guy is a threat to you. You are a god. He is known as the God Killer. This guy could take out all of the Marvel universe probably if he really wanted to. So like they could have played with that for the next few years. Instead, they decided to go with Kang, but that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, no, I just think Taika fucked this whole thing up. He talked about Star Wars and some other things too, but I'm sure we'll get to that. But as far as Marvel goes, yeah, I don't think anybody's sad to see him go, and it sounds like he's not that sad to be leaving.
No, you're right with Gore the God Butcher. That could have been a character that they continued onwards. Yeah. I mean, he's never working for Marvel again, is he? Like, let's be honest.
I don't think so. And look, he is a Muppet. I mean, somebody in the chat said it was a Jim Henson creation, but he's definitely a Muppet. I agree.
That's an insult in the UK.
I know. I love it.
I know. Yeah, I know that. That's kind of an insult to Jim Henson almost.
I'm just saying.
I don't even know if he'd create a Muppet that bad.
One of my favorite content creators uses that term all the time, so I love it. Yeah. You need to use it more, Mr. H Reviews.
Nah, I like my random made up insults
Well,
that I
those are
do
fun
here
too.
and there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I reckon he's been binned. He's been kicked to the curb.
Yes, yeah.
Well, he's still working for Disney, as we at least for now, as we said. There's the Star Wars bit, but I didn't want to jump
Yeah,
ahead.
but different producers, isn't it? So
Yeah,
crazy times. Crazy times. Funny though, because the floodgates have opened on people bitching about Marvel now. They truly have opened, haven't they? Like, let's be honest. There's a lot of people talking about Marvel, bad mouthing them. Ever since that Variety article, the floodgates just pour and pour and pour.
Well, they're not.
So it is interesting.
They're not doing themselves any favors, and boy, are we going to cover that in a minute or a few minutes.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, we will. Let's shuffle on to some of these other super chats. So Tom working for $2 says apathy, but why? Oversaturation, quality. I think it's dependent on the product. It's Doctor Who. It's not oversaturation. It's quality and directional change. And I think it's quality and directional change for most things.
Yeah.
Oversaturation for superhero stuff. Like I've got a lot of apathy for general superhero stuff now. I'm like, I just don't care that much.
I think the best analogy for all this stuff was the restaurant analogy that we've been using for a while, that a lot of us have. Andre even did a little video about it, and really true. You go into this restaurant with an expectation, and it's let's say it's a steakhouse, and you order a steak, medium well or whatever, and they bring you out a big fish, and you're like, this isn't what I ordered, and they're like, yeah, but it's good for you, now eat it. And it's like, I don't want to eat this. This isn't what I ordered. And they're like, what are you racist against fish or whatever? And then they just start yelling and screaming at you. And it's like, wait a minute here. I came into your establishment with an expectation of a certain thing, and I paid for it, or I'm going to pay for it, or with the expectation to pay for it, or however you want to put the analogy. But still, if they're going to keep shoving their audience away or shoving that shit in their face, of course they're going to reject it. And I was saying earlier, there's only so far that people are going to let them be guilted into this shit. The general public is
they're checking out.
I still believe, and I think Thomas said this as well, but I still believe that the MCU could have gone on for another 10 or 15 years.
Oh, easy.
And they've really hastened its end.
Oh yeah, 100% they have. Absolutely. They rushed it, and then they just fucked it. So yeah, you're completely right. Accent Seller sent in 50 Norwegian kroner, says with good writers and an actress with gravitas, a female Doctor Who could have worked. Imagine Tilda Swinton or Helen Mirren as the Doctor. They would crush it.
Oh, BBC Tilda Swinton would have been brilliant.
Helen Mirren can do anything she wants.
They can't afford them.
I think Tilda Swinton is genius actress.
But BBC can't afford her. High Def sent in $5 says, do you think Doctor Who would be better if Director X directed it?
Yeah. Yes.
It'd be funny at least. I don't think it'd be better. It'd be funny at least.
I think that would be.
Oh, piss off, Culture. You think it's gonna be better?
Yes.
Oh, piss off.
I will give Director X this much, that I mean, if he at least the way he presented himself to you, and when we talked to him on Flashcast, if he is legitly the kind of person he says he is, I can understand taking a paycheck and letting him change your shit the way he did, to a point when you're hungry and you need to eat. But if he's really the type of person he says he is, then he should be using his status to be getting into some of these franchises and trying to fucking fix them, if he is really what he says he is. See, that's where I'll present a challenge to Mr. X if he's listening. Because, I mean, that's what we need, is people to infiltrate themselves into this, just like the wokey wokes did. Basically. Yeah. Go in pretending to be woke, and whatever you got to do. Woke gate. Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it.
Woke gate this. Tom Workin sent in $2 says, anyone like an Invincible? I watched like the first 2 episodes of it, and then I didn't watch any more yet. Or 1 episode. I can't remember how many I watched. I think it was 2 or 1, and I didn't watch any more. So
it's on
anyone else watching Invincible?
It's on my watch list. I gotta catch up, you guys. I'm getting crushed right now.
I like the first season, so I do want to. I just haven't had a chance, really. So
I think this is one that so far people have said is good. So
Yeah.
The first season was great, epic, really, really good fun. So I do want to watch it. It's just finding the time at the moment for me. Just so much bloody
It's
driving around and
yeah.
studying and shit.
I mean, I'm now I'm like Tom. I'm now being called upon to do all this other stuff. I'm struggling just to keep up with the stuff I have to watch. So it's on my list. I'll get to it. I'll get caught up. But
There we go.
yeah.
Accent Seller sent in 20 Norwegian kroner, says Taika with titties. Mate, why have kids if you're poor? It's a fair point, bro. Black Saber, $2. I'll ruin my own career in a minute, baby.
You know, it's funny you
Tom
mention that
Worth.
because I think he's kind of getting a hint that he's pissing the wrong people off. Because did you hear him kind of taking about face on his Star Wars stance? That's what I was talking about before.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. I guess we're kind of moving past it, so I might as well bring it up now. So yeah,
no,
like
no. Hang on to
in a
those.
minute.
oh, hang on to it. Okay,
Hang
all
on to
right,
it.
all right, all right.
Mate, right. Tom Workin sent in $2. Says Uwe Boll as Doctor Who showrunner. Discuss.
Okay.
That is a shit show. No.
Can't be any worse than it is. No, this is one of those things where you could take a chance and it might actually be better than it was. You know, now is it going to be onto the level of the old Dr. Puck?
Oh, yeah. But... yeah, I don't know.
Mr. H. It's like,
you know, I almost want to see this happen just out of pure curiosity. Like, then I would watch Doctor Who. You tell me Uwe Boll is fucking directing it. I'm like, wait a minute. Let's see how many heads come off.
That'd get bums on seats, wouldn't it? Christ.
It would.
Can you imagine that?
It would.
Dear, oh dear. Right. Well,
could you just real quick, because we just mentioned Doctor Who one more time. Could you imagine them going back and trying to market one of the Doctors on film?
What do you mean on film? How do you mean?
Like to do a cinematic release of Doctor Who, like a standalone 2-hour.
Well, didn't they do a couple of those, like the Peter Cushing ones or whatever?
I'm talking about now. Do you think?
Oh God, no.
Yeah, I don't think they could even pull that. It would be embarrassingly bad.
Well, it would be. You wouldn't be able to do it because how the BBC is shooting Doctor Who now is so far removed from anything that's cinematic. It would be such a shock to anyone watching current Doctor Who. They'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" Because it's 60 frames a second frame rate.
It's a soap opera
level frame rate.
It's a soap opera.
There's no film grain. Their framing's bad. You know, we're talking.
Can I ask about that for a second? Because that's one of the problems I have with getting into any BBC shows. Is, and I know it's partially the frame rate, but why is it you guys decide to shoot everything to make it look like a really cheap soap opera? Like, I don't get it.
So it's not actually. So it's not. You say you guys. That's not a. I mean, that's not a UK thing.
Okay.
That's a television. So TV for you guys, it would be. I don't know what the equivalent would be. Our sort of like free TV. Like it's.
Okay, well, I get where you're coming from, but here's what I'm saying is
it's the sitcom cinematic type stuff. That's
I was going to say, yeah, because we shoot drama on film and stuff here. I mean, well, now everything's digital, but before they would at least shoot only sitcoms and soap operas, and the news would be shot on video like that. And even us, it would still only be 30 frames, so it didn't look so jittery and shit, whatever you want to call it.
Well, so there's very little. Terrestrial TV in the UK is dead anyway because no one consumes it because YouTube's taken over, Netflix has, all the streamers have taken over, so no one really watches terrestrial TV. But a lot of it is just shot on 60 frames a second when it's when it's a sitcom style thing. There are a lot of productions which are not, and they will be, they'll be shot on digital, but of course made to look like they're on film. There's a lot of very well-known things. Peaky Blinders, people are saying in the chat, for instance. There you go. There are a lot of them, but you don't tend to associate them with that or with the UK because of the plethora of sitcom level shot stuff, because they're just made dirt cheap. But Doctor Who's not cheap now, to be fair, mate. Like they've definitely upped their budget. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff which is actually really, really good. Well,
they brought in the mouse money, dude.
Yeah, well, yeah, for for Doctor Who. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is because it is actually sitcom stuff, basically. That is why a lot of it is. And then Commandant VHS is saying British TVs have a different frame rate, 50 hertz. So some of it will be down to that as well, I would imagine.
Wow.
I understand all the technical stuff. That's not, I mean, I get it. And that's not really my question, though, I guess is what I was asking. So, I mean, there's just, in the US, we have varied levels to how we shoot things and how they look, right? Like, that's what I'm getting at more so.
Well, but so do we, though. It's, you just don't see, you don't associate a lot of the higher end stuff with the terrestrial TV things. Peaky Blinders was on terrestrial TV, right?
To be fair, I haven't watched Peaky, so there might be things now that are better, yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff, which is like, in terms of its shooting style, definitely not sitcom, but I just think it's association. But anyway, let's shuffle on to something you were alluding to, Tom, my dude.
I was just yeah.
There you go, Tom. Over to you, mate.
Okay,
what's going on?
Basically, Taika Waititi was talking, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, about how his Star Wars movie is going to piss everybody off. I think that time he was actually being facetious or kind of just stating like, the obvious, because it's no different than any director going, well, no matter what I do, none of the fans are going to be happy, kind of thing. So I think that was kind of more what his statement. But the way he's been so antagonistic with people, I can understand how people took it as a sense of, he's going to try to piss people off. But I still think that kind of got to him, because on the Kelly Clarkson show, he really kind of backtracked on some, or not so much backtrack, but kind of about faced, like I said, and thanks to Six for sending me the actual quote here in the background. Is like, yeah, I've been developing that for a few years, talking about Star Wars. But I think that with any film, but that one in particular, it's something I'd really like to get that one right. So I don't want to rush it. It's just going to bobble along on the side. It's exciting. Giving a preview of what fans could expect, he continued, I want to capture that joy and entertainment of those early ones, Empire Strikes Back and Jedi. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure that out. It'll happen. Okay, so the whole other part about it being basically shoved to the side, we'll get to that in a moment. I just want to give him at least another half point of credit for reading the room and realizing.
Do you think
I think either he read the room or somebody told him, you cannot be antagonizing the Star Wars fans like this.
Yeah.
Like, even if he didn't mean that at first, right? Like I said, just his way that he has come off in the last, couple of years here. I think somebody took him aside and said, look, you really need to stop being like this, because people are not taking it the way you're meaning it, or whatever, like I do with culture all the time.
That's justified, mate. Culture's a fucking loose cannon.
Well, him and the cock thing. I mean, constantly. Just constant.
Oh my God, the cock.
There you go.
Right, anyway. But yeah, so you I'm not going to give him a point. I'm not going to give him a point.
I said half a point. Half a point.
I don't know. Culture, what do you reckon?
No, look, this is weird, because I think you're going to start seeing directors, producers, studios recognizing that they have alienated their audiences. I mean, that I'm sorry. I mean, I know
sinks in years down the line.
well, the problem is they're coming to the realization late, but at the same time, they're like, oh crap, nobody's coming to see our crap anymore. Like right now, I mean, for what it's worth, Hunger Games, is an example of, if we don't dump on the audience, if we don't, people might come and see this movie, and then people like myself go and we say, wow, this wasn't as god awful as I was anticipating it to be. And, I can highlight some good points in it. Whereas Taika Waititi was so adversarial that, you already were going into the film saying, I don't have high expectations for this. I don't want to have expectations going into a film, and I do my level best not to. I will give it a fair run. But now, when I go see anything that's like PG-13 or less PG or whatnot, I have to go in there and be prepared to tell people this is not safe for your young kids to see. This is not a PG-13 you're going to take your 10-year-old to. you know, because you can't trust what's being out there. And the biggest problem with Taika is he flirts with danger on anything that he makes. So, you know, the fact that
Yeah.
he's willing to say, I'm not going to flirt with danger, I'm going to do this right. I'm not going to ruin your mythos in a minute, baby, you know. Good choice.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to do a good job, but I agree with what Culture's saying there. Basically, like I said, somebody took him aside, said, "Knock this shit off."
Yeah. Don't do
Yeah.
this, please.
Well, yeah.
Maybe that's what got
Yeah.
between him and Marvel. It may have had very little to do with anything else other than they're like, you went out there and you caused this big stir over the mythos fucking statement. Maybe that's part of what came between him and Marvel.
But
I'm not going to say it
but
is, but
but this is still Lucasfilm. It's still Lucasfilm.
well, and that gets to the part where he said it's going to be on the side dragging along here. Like, do we really think this movie is ever going to come to fruition? I believe Taika
no.
Waititi is going to wind up on that long laundry list of revolving door directors that people have made fun of in the past, where I said, you know, she's fired more people than she's hired. And they're like, well,
Which
this
is
doesn't even
true.
make sense. It's like, no, it does make sense. She has literally
Yeah.
fired more people from projects that never came to fruition than actual things that have. So that's where you've come to a point where she's literally fired more people than she's produced anything. And you can
Trevorrow.
even kind of count John Favreau, and there's kind of like a sidelined. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead, Culture.
No, I was gonna contribute to your list. I mean, Trevorrow, I mean, Favreau. I mean, she's
Well, it's
gotten rid
getting
of.
bigger every day. We learned about David Gordon Green in the last few months here, and a
Yes.
couple other ones.
Yeah.
Benioff
I mean, in the
Wise.
two Daves, yeah, the big head, little head. Yeah,
There's loads. There's so many people.
Yeah.
So many people.
it's just insane.
It's funny that he's done such an about face on it all. It is funny.
Well, could
I
you?
still think it's pure bollocks.
But
Oh, yeah.
roles are dry. Okay, so somebody in the chat earlier during our conversation the first time around mentioned that Taika is not hurting for opportunities for jobs. I will suggest that's not entirely true. Look
Well,
at
Taika Waititi,
yeah.
he's gone back to doing his own things now, so clearly he's not being offered stuff.
You know, next goal wins. That just came out. Nobody saw that. You know, and I know that was released under 20th Century. You know,
Another Disney, yeah.
so it was another Disney flop. You know, but he's
Not been made for much though, to be fair. Give it a bit of credit.
true story, but it didn't make much at all. So I mean, it's not going to be raking in bucks, but it's we're in a very strange place. When it comes to,
Well, I will
his
give
career.
Taika this. He has like the series of What We Do in the Dark or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And he has, you know, Jojo Rabbit did pretty well for him. He had a couple other films in between here and there that have done okay for him. It's like, as long as he sticks with his stuff, like you just said, Nate, where he goes to just doing his, I don't think anybody would care so much. In fact, if you want, that's where I would actually agree with him being an auteur director. Keep doing your quirky little fucking
Jojo
films
Rabbit, yeah,
and leave the other shit alone, right? Because
Legion of
up until,
Shadows.
yeah, because I liked the Shadows stuff and I liked, you know, Ragnarok, and I liked some of the other stuff I've seen him in and that he's been a part of prior to that. But now he's gotten so grating upon me that I was like watching that Free Guy movie. Is like, is he really playing a part? Is he that self-aware, or is he really just not that aware of himself? And this is how he comes off in real life now, right? You know, because he was playing that aloof, you know, idiotic fucking head of the company or whatever. Remember, was like all like a big kid or whatever. And it's like, you know, it's like, okay, you're annoying as piss in the movie, but you're playing the role well. But is this you now? Because this is what you sound like online, is basically what I was saying. But yeah,
Now, yeah, no, man,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
good
true.
point.
Yeah.
very full of himself and all that shit. Yeah.
Has he drunk his own Kool-Aid, or was he always that way? And that it sort of enabled him to become this, to show him. It's interesting, isn't it? Interesting. Interesting. Well, like, I still think it's gonna be a bomb. I think we can all probably agree with that, even if it does come out, because it's probably never going to come out anyway. So
This has as good a chance as DeBioff and Weiss's trilogy of coming out.
Yeah,
Maybe I'd give it a little bit more chance, but yeah, no, if this has nothing to do with Ray or Dave Filoni, it's not a sure deal at this point.
Yeah. Black Saber sent in $2. Says Star Wars pivot. I need a 5-year patent to believe it.
Not Star Wars
Yeah.
itself. We're just
Yeah.
saying that the Taika's kind of pivoting his opinions or the things he's saying in the press. Basically, that's what we're talking about.
No, Star Wars is
Yeah.
dead. Star Wars
Yeah,
is
Star Wars
better
is
than dead.
fucking dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gents, let's shuffle on to our next topic now.
Ooh.
So, culture. Do you want to chit chat about what this is?
Wow.
What this
Okay, so
filing is, what it reveals?
so recently, and this is an amazing story, by the way. John F. Trent wrote it for That Park Place, and Disney released something they have to do annually. It's basically a statement of risks, etc. It's a 10K, and they just released it. It's almost a week old now. And this particular thing kind of highlighted and delineated where they see their shortcomings and where their primary risk factors are. Well, they've kind of nailed
As a
it here.
business. Risk
Yeah.
factors as a business.
Yeah, and they've kind of nailed it here because they know that everything is driven by the content they produce, whether it's television or film, primarily film, that drives all of their other elements of business, which include obviously theme parks and cruise lines and all the other things, because everything else is downstream from that. So, in this particular quote, and I'll let you have a much prettier reading voice, Mr. H, but
Well, it says, we face risks relating to misalignment with public and consumer tastes and preferences for entertainment, travel, and consumer products, which impact demand for our entertainment offerings and products and the profitability of any of our businesses.
yes,
We don't know what people want.
exactly.
Misaligned.
But it's even worse. It's even worse because in the next part, this is crazy.
God. Our businesses create entertainment, travel, and consumer products whose success depends substantially on consumer tastes and preferences that change in often unpredictable ways. The success of our businesses depends on our ability to consistently create compelling content, which may be distributed, among other ways, through broadcast, cable, theatres, internet, or mobile technology, and used in theme park attractions, hotels, and other resort facilities, and travel experiences and consumer products.
So what again, all they're saying is everything
Here.
relies
this
on content that we make that people consume because it will drive their purchase and their involvement in all of the other aspects of our business. There you go.
Was it this part? I don't think it was. I think it was the next part. There's a fascinating part of this. It says, So the success of our businesses therefore depends on our ability to successfully predict and adapt to changing consumer tastes and preferences outside as well as inside the US. Moreover, we must often invest substantial amounts in content production and acquisition of sports rights, launch of new sports-related studio programming, theme park attractions, cruise ships or hotels, and other facilities or customer-facing platforms. Before we know the extent to which these products will earn consumer acceptance, and these products may be introduced into a significantly different market or economic or social climate from the one we anticipated at the time of the investment decisions. And that part there, I think, is important. Social climate, right? Keep that in mind, guys, when we get off to the next bit.
Oh boy.
Generally, our revenues and profitability are adversely impacted when our entertainment offerings and products, as well as our methods to make our offerings and products available to consumers, do not achieve sufficient consumer acceptance. Further, consumers' perceptions of our position on matters of public interest, remember that social climate bit? Including our efforts to achieve certain of our environmental and social goals, often differ widely and present risks to our reputation and brands. Park that. Consumer tastes and preferences impact among other items, revenue from advertising, blah, 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 blah. Just, you're a company, Disney. You are, in effect, my dancing fucking monkey. There are no social goals you should have as a business. Fucking dance for me, monkey. Entertain me, monkey. And I'll throw my dollar bills at you. That is all you are there for. You entertain me like a court jester, like a fucking imp. That's all you do. You dancing monkey bitch. And yet, they have social goals.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tom would probably prefer you to, throwing the money out at a strip club, but same thing.
Fascinating stuff. So, yeah, a conclusion.
Strippers don't like it when you ask for change, by the way.
Did you finish it? I don't think you finished the paragraph, but
God, is there more? Yeah, probably is.
It's fine. But regardless, the biggest impact here is to the investing community broadly, because this is a statement that's made to serious investors who pay attention, who are active investors, not passive investors, like people who hold mutual funds and 401ks and so on and so forth. These are people who actually pay attention when they purchase stock. They know that the company is supposed to represent the best possible opportunity to earn revenue and to grow the company, increasing the stock value, which is called fiduciary duty. One of the biggest problems here is that Disney is freely admitting that their goals don't necessarily align with fulfilling their fiduciary duty. And again, this is something that I would say should put Disney in harm's way, not only with investors, but also with the financial regulations here in the United States. They should be held accountable for their lack of fiduciary duty, because their performance has been negatively impacted, of course, over the last 3 years specifically, because of their political alignments and their practices leaking into an entertainment business, which has no business in professing any particular ideology or political direction, because you're alienating the people that are going to consume your content. And you don't have to look very far other than their television offerings, the fact that their streaming growth in the United States have fallen off a cliff, and the fact that nobody is going to see their movies. Pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, that what you just said there, basically, culture, and that headline we were just looking at is an admission that I don't think people, or at least some people anyway, might not realize how deep that really is going. That's them admitting that we fucked up. We have fucked up. We have literally fucked ourselves so badly that now even us, Disney, have to kind of change course, right? And this is what's going to basically set off the final kids. Get ready now, because this is what I've been predicting for a long time. All these wokes now that are in these companies now, once they start realizing what they mean by these statements, if they're actually standing by doing these things that they're saying, are going to start freaking the fuck out. And culture, you can probably explain why.
Go ahead. You're on a roll.
All right. Well, fuck it. I'll say it. Because they will be told, no, you cannot interject your bullshit any fucking longer. No, we are not going to alienate the fucking audience. No, we're not going to have a gay, non-binary, Blasian fucking princess take over for Snow White. Okay. It's just not going to fucking happen anymore, because guess what? Nobody fucking wants it. Nobody. And I don't remember who the lady was from Paramount who said it, but she said it so brilliantly. We have to start remembering in Hollywood that there are people out there that are beyond LA and New York, right? They have forgotten that there is a bigger country, a much bigger country than just those two fucking cities, right? And sure, those little patches here and there throughout the country of those little cities, but guess what? When you take a look at that map from a broader angle, they're a lot more smaller than you realize. And there's a lot more people, and this is why their fucking seats are empty, because they have said, fuck you. We're not going to take our family to this. As Culture was saying before, we cannot trust you anymore to not indoctrinate our children with some nonsensical bullshit that we don't need them learning right now, no matter what istophobe you want to call me. And you're getting a lot more people who are just getting to the point where they're like, yeah, fine. If that's what you want to call me, I am that. They're getting to the point where they're not even afraid anymore of this shit. Like, this has kind of been a
Yeah.
prime example of what I've been dealing with the last couple days online. It's like, go ahead, call me that. If it pisses you off, I'll own it. I don't give a fuck at this point because you made us this way. And this is the other thing that I've been talking about that I've noticed with my kid and other people in his generation. They are rejecting the shit wholesale. But not only rejecting it wholesale, there's a problem. This bullshit is creating a whole new generation of people who are not going to be accepting of people like this anymore.
Yeah.
So what they have done is now turned a whole generation of people against any idea that you are non-traditional anymore. So you have gone and created exactly what you're trying to fight against. What never existed before at this point, which was just a small, minute part of the actual population. You have now multiplied because of your fucking whiny ass, pussy ass, fucking snowflake bullshit. And it's getting sickening. My kid is a prime example of it. He is tired of it. He doesn't understand why he can't just be a guy and be into things that guys are into, even though, he got to a point where, I think he's not even part of some of the main school stuff because he was in special, schools because he's disabled. But like he even started coming home talking about non-binary shit and all this crap. And I just got to a point where I'm like, all right, whatever. It's like, can't even keep it out of special schools now. Like, what the hell? These kids can barely get through a day to try and do math and all the other regular subjects. It's like, no wonder that these students are rejecting this shit. They're like, we just want to learn, right? We just want to know how to fucking function in life. We don't care about all this other crap. It's not something that's going to help put food on our tables.
And see, this is why I wanted Tom to finish. But it's true.
You sent me on a roll.
That, ladies and gents, is why we often get demonetized. So if you want to check in some super chats, please do.
Yes. But look, Tom's 100% right, and again, I think that they are creating bigger monsters than existed. That I think Tom's
100% they are 100%.
And I don't know what their ultimate goal was, because now you actually have people that are focusing on, okay, how do we have traditional civilization again? How do we have traditional marriages? How do we have a traditional society?
Well, you can't. I mean, that's a whole other conversation, quite frankly. Not massively outside the bounds of what we talk about on this podcast, but you can't really, because society is developed in such a way now where you say, what good's a guy? Majority of people on the street would say they're not good for anything, and you're like, bitch, they fucking made the floor you are walking on right now.
Yes.
They literally made every single piece of infrastructure around you. You should respect them. And when people are like, oh, men control everything and blah blah blah, and you're like, no, they don't. Like, in a traditional society, the highest value individual in a traditional society is women. Men do absolutely everything for women in a traditional society. They value them so highly. They're like, no, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do this. And I often find it comical as well in modern day societies, as women are like, I want to be a boss babe, I want to go out and work. What, for some faceless CEO cunt that doesn't like you, when you could sit at home, work, essentially doing housework for a man that loves you? I mean, if there was a male equivalent of that, I would do that. That'd be great. Like, that'd be brilliant. But no, traditional society you can't have nowadays. You're not allowed it. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're 100% right. And that's just kind of like a primordial thing built in our system, right? Like the whole idea of, because women, can only create life every 9 months. As to where men, we can procreate anytime, any place, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's why it's built in our system, plus just the way we are through nature. Like, there's the hunter-gatherers part of it. There's the nurture, other side of it that, you have in the nesting side of it, that the female generally tends to. Now, is there variations? Yes. Nobody's saying there's not. Nobody's saying there's anything. And I guarantee you, I can speak for everybody on this panel where we have no problem with anybody who has, a different sexual preference, is a different color, any of that kind of stuff. That has never been a fucking problem. The problem is interjecting this shit into fantasy genres where it doesn't belong, in ways that it doesn't belong, and in children's entertainment specifically.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing is I don't understand why we're even having this fucking debate. Like, some of this stuff I can understand, but when we get to the nitty gritty of this shit, like, how are we even having a debate where Disney is being in a position where they're The problem is they have too much of this kind of crap in their. I never thought of that. I never thought we'd get to that point. Like Disney, and this just goes with the whole idea of it, right? Is that Disney has always meant wholesome family entertainment. It was even a verb or whatever you want to call it. You Disney-fied it, right?
Yeah.
Look at this.
You
This
know
is
what I
some
mean?
wholesome Disney right here, mate.
That's Disney now?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
fuck? That doesn't.
Makeup Boy in the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder on Disney.
Oh, I'd love to have to explain that to a 6-year-old.
That's the other problem, right? And Disney is complicit in indoctrination because they will hide that episode until you're 2 or 3 deep in. Maybe even they'll hide it for half a season before they start to drop the propaganda into the show because they want the parents to let the television babysit the kid, the streaming service babysit the kid. The problem is you can't do that anymore. And that's why Disney's brand and reputation is damaged because nobody trusts them. And I have been saying this was becoming a problem going back to when I started my channel. I was like, these are the things I'm observing. This is the problem, and this is what will happen. The problem is now we've gotten to the point where this is what has happened. It's now history. What I said was going to happen, and we're on the threshold of a whole lot of other problems that nobody's processing through right now, but they're starting to. And that's the worst position Disney could be in, or any of these other entertainment companies, because now you have a very wide aware group of people that is growing every single day.
There you go, ladies and gents. And now I will ask you, we've got 677 people watching, but only about 300 likes. So if you could, please do hit that thumbs up button. It's not for the video because the video gets unlisted, but it's to hopefully tell YouTube to tell you your favorite podcast is on again in future. So if you hit that thumbs up button, really appreciate it, guys. And if you liked any of what we've just said, because we do get pretty big demonetization, super chats, we'll read them out. We've got a captive audience, and it's just fan funding. It helps the show out. So would appreciate that as well. Oh dear. I like some of these off-topic things here and there it's not really off-topic, but I think more and more, the sort of philosophical ramifications of modern day traditional, non-traditional, ideological impact. Like I've been looking into that more and more lately, and it's just, you know why it is, don't you? Because I'm in academia now, and there's so many illogical things that are being presented to me that I just have to nod along to and go, yeah. And inside I'm like, you're a fucking retard. You're a fucking retard. You're an absolute idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. That's not science. You're teaching about science. You're a fucking idiot. I want to smash you in the face. And I can't. And I've just got to go, yep, sure. Absolutely. Yep. No worries. And it's driving me insane. It is driving me insane. Slowly but surely, I'm losing the will to live. Dealing with this nonsense. Oh dear, oh dear. Right. Anyway,
we need to keep you around for a while.
I see. How's it
going? Hey, greetings, everyone.
Nice to have you on, dude.
Absolutely. I had the opportunity to hop on, so I figured, hey, it's been a while, so why not?
It has been a while. Yeah, we broke up for Thanksgiving briefly. But it's good to have you on, dude.
Yeah.
We actually have our a super chat, and it's the first super chat this person has ever given.
Awesome.
Albion for £9.99, and says, honestly, so thank you so much. Your first super chat is here.
Thank you.
On the podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Says, honestly, I love hearing you guys expose the BS in the industry. Thank you. We have a good time here on this show. And I do appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. We enjoy exposing it, although it's somewhat tiresome here and there.
It gets repetitive because we do it so much, I feel like.
Yes, absolutely. Well, shall we try and move off over to something which I'm somewhat excited about? Maybe some positivity?
Yeah, go for it. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So, Alien Romulus. This is a movie from Fede Alvarez, set in the future, the distant future, not related to Ellen Ripley. We don't know anything about it really. Well, we do actually. We know a little bit about this. I've done some videos on the plot leaks and bits and pieces here and there. Some like the casting things for this. Kaylee Spaney has confirmed that this will actually be set between the first two films, Alien and Aliens, which I think is interesting. I'm not going to say I'm like massively excited about this. I'm like hugely optimistic, but I'm quietly bubbling away with some positivity here. Is there somewhat an element of naivety? Maybe. I freely admit that, but I want this to be good. So she came out and said this. It's supposed to slot in between the first movie and the second movie. They brought in the same team from Aliens, the James Cameron film, the same people who built those xenomorphs. She's talking about Studio ADI. Actually came on and built ours. So getting to see the original design with the original people who have been working on these films for 45 plus years and has been so much of their life has been really incredible. And that was kind of it, really. Not a lot was said. She did say, some other comment about, I swapped my high heels and beehive for spacesuits and lots of wire work. That sounds good. And that she's a fan of Sigourney Weaver. It's it's legendary to get to be a part of it. It's set between the first two movies, but it's not connected. Apparently, it's a standalone thing. What do we think? Are we positive? Are we negative? Loads of people don't like it. I get it. I'm still bubbling away with some positivity. Culture. Have you got something positive to say or negative? Let's go.
Well, I'm always intrigued. I would love to see something done well.
It's going to be in the theaters. It's going to be in movie theaters.
Yeah, I'm not going to have to. I'm not watching it on Hulu. Yeah, that's good. But I'm just
August.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see something new that fits within a time frame I'm familiar with, that is starring somebody who seems to have some reverence for the things that came before, because it sounds like she does. I'm excited because I know what the design is going to look like. There's a lot of positive here. I'm going to hold my breath and hope that we don't get any modern writing that infests this with a lot of modern politics, modern audience stuff. But
it's written by Fede Alvarez. He's not really done any writing which has done that before,
right? But there's a first time for everybody.
100%. But you still look at the historical track record of individuals and to weigh up some of the odds.
And that's why I trend more positive. So, but I'm interested to hear what Tom and Andre have to say. So,
go on, Andre. Sock it to me.
I like that it's set between the first two movies, because that gives us like 50, 60, 70 year time span. 50 years, I think. 50
75
years?
No, it's over 200 odd years. She was floating in space for quite a long period of time.
No, it's like 50 something. Remember, she had a daughter, and the daughter was still up like, she was old, but she was an age where she should have been alive, so it can't have been more like 50 something years that she was floating in space. No, you're thinking between the movies 3 and 4 now. Between the first two movies.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah, sorry.
Between the first two movies, that's a
57, 58 years, 57 years. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
So I had 75 in my head. Maybe that's why. 57, 75.
Yeah. No, I knew it had to be 50 something. Anyway, that tells me that there's probably going to be some references to the missing Nostromo or something like that in the movie. It's probably going to be. I don't know any plot details. I haven't seen those videos, so you probably know. But that at least leads me to speculate that it's going to be dealing with Weyland-Yutani in those missing years in between. And one thing that I always thought was intriguing, and hopefully this is something that they can explore. I never really saw this caught up on, but Weyland-Yutani must have been aware of those aliens, of the xenomorphs, prior to the events of the first movie. Because
I said that in my video I did today, dude.
Oh, really? Oh, great minds think alike. I haven't seen it. This is something that I have been aware of for years, that Ash, the android, he goes specifically looking for them. He knows something about these things to begin with. He sets the crew up specifically for this end. So if they are telling that story, which is probably the one that that Ridley Scott was like trying to tell in a completely hopeless detour with Prometheus, which was going to be like what 5 movies or something before it caught up to the first. I mean, that was
Yeah, but wouldn't that story take
ridiculous.
place before the first Alien? Because Ash is the one on the first ship.
I know, I
Yeah.
know. But anyway, the beauty is that then you can kind of like abandon that whole thing, and now you can then go straight into the aftermath. You can basically go in media res into like, okay, here is like this happened. Okay, like here we now have this missing ship. We have like this colony, and then you can deal with some of the behind the scenes politics stuff right there. And if Fede Alvarez can handle this right, he can actually succeed in retroactively making the movie that Prometheus should have been. Now, what has me actually more worried than him is still Ridley Scott's influence, because we know that he has some level of influence here. And if there's one person I do not trust with Alien, it's Ridley Scott. And also it comes out of the Disney system. Now, I'm not a big fan of everything that Fede Alvarez has made. I do not think that he's going to do anything woke on his own. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. I am a little bit more worried about, since he comes under the Disney system, Disney are very beholden to ESG and everything. Is he going to be able to escape it? That I don't know. So I'm instinctively worried now about everything that comes under Disney auspices, period. So it's not that I distrust Fede Alvarez per se. If anything, he's the strong link of the equation, even though I freaking couldn't stand like Don't Breathe or whatever it was called. But yeah. Although Ridley Scott pleasantly surprised me with Napoleon, but that does not mean that I trust him with Alien.
The exception doesn't make the rule.
No, exactly, it doesn't. He has shown that he is not to be trusted with Alien, and he has shown that abundantly clear in 2 movies in a row.
Go on, Tom. What do you reckon?
Alien Covenant.
I'm not so sure about the idea of setting this between 1 and 2. I
think it's great to set.
I know you knew this was coming. I just really have zero faith in anybody doing anything Alien ever again. We've got 2 good movies.
Fair. That is fair.
It's not a franchise that anybody's been able to do anything with. I think the chance that it had went out the door with Neil Blomkamp. That was the one thing that the fans actually seem to want. And yeah, I mean, at this point,
I think we dodged a bullet with that one.
I disagree. I think it would have set the franchise back on the right course and would have kept Ridley Scott away from this. Because I know we debate about it a lot, but Ridley Scott should not be just anywhere near the shit. I mean, the people that got involved, Fede Alvarez and Noah Hawley or whatever, as far as doing stuff, maybe. But you tell me there's something Alien coming, I don't get excited. I don't. It's like, okay, there's nothing that's going to excite me about it because the expectations are so low at this point. It'll surprise me if it's actually somewhat decent and not a piece of shit. Right? Because everything has been nothing but garbage, really, out of that franchise. And even if you include the Alien versus Predator stuff too. So, especially Requiem.
Mate, they were terrible anyway. Yeah, I mean, my opinion was much the same as yours. I did a video earlier today, Andre, where I said how setting it between, a sequel to Alien, a prequel to Aliens, still its own story. It's not it's standalone in the respect that it's not about the main character of the Alien franchise, which is clearly Ellen Ripley. Although I know, Tom, you say not a franchise, but just for that discussion there. So, but it's still in the universe and it's still connected to the universe itself. And I think setting it between those 2 movies, as you said, gives it the great opportunity to explore what the company knew, especially for Aliens, because Burke went out specifically and was like, yeah, bioweapons division. Yep, we're getting them. Like 100%. I'm going to sacrifice Newt. I'm going to plant some little chest bursters in them. I'm going to take them home, cryogenics, bioweapons division. Going to be worth so much for the company. So they knew all about them. Even Ash, etc. I like that story. I like the potential for that story. It doesn't mean they're going to do it. but it's still the potential that they could do it. So that's what I like. That's what gives me some small hope. But I think all of the concerns are completely justified. I think, yeah, I can see the concerns. You got anything else to add, Culture?
No, I think I said my piece. I think I would I'm going to give it a chance, but if I hear something that takes it the wrong direction, I will speak out because I don't
Good.
hold my tongue very often.
Good. Well, we've got some super chats to get to before we move on to our next topic. So we've got Tom working for $5 says, H, I learned the lesson you're now seeing, but in now, thought I wanted to be a teacher, master at one point, lots of bullshit, yo. Yeah, it's very tight, mate. It's tiresome. It's so tiresome. I can't give out too much information. I just can't. I gotta be careful of what I say. But yeah, logical things are presented as. Yeah, I can't. I will rant and rave about it. It pisses me off no end. I've just got to suck it up and get on with it. Big Al Games for £5 says, yo, lads, do you have a film that you love but everyone else seems to hate? And a film that you hate but everyone else seems to love? Love the podcast. Yeah, go on, Culture.
Showgirls, one of the greatest films ever made.
I love Showgirls.
Is there one scene with Showgirls where he puts ice cubes on some tits?
Yes.
That's the one.
That is the only scene I remember from.
The only scene I remember is the period scene for some reason. This whole thing turned me off of the movie. I'm just like, okay, we're done here.
I remember the tits and the nipples. That's it.
You need to see the extended cut. You need to see the
scene.
Oh no! Of all the scenes, there are parts of scenes that are more enlightening.
Is there? If anyone looks like a showgirl,
Cultured. When you say more enlightening, do you have the open matte version of the extended cut? You know, the one with the crop shot.
I do not. I want that desperately. Oh boy, is it available? I want that now.
Officially, no, but
I need that in my life.
Yeah, okay, I'll hook you up.
Excellent, thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to add to this?
Yes, actually, I as Mr. H knows perfectly well, because there are so many times you've been talking about, oh, is this shit movie, blah blah blah, and then who liked this? Like we had like this just a couple of weeks ago when you're like, who liked this? It was like me going against the grain. I actually forgot which movie that was, which I kind of liked, but I can actually mention several which no one liked.
Oh, I know you like The Exorcist, the fucking
Exorcist that was movie. It. Yes, I thought I liked it, but I thought it was a kind of okay. No, one that I really unabashedly enjoyed the hell out of, Black Adam. I really enjoyed Black Adam. And I also thought that Disney's Haunted Mansion. I know many people hate that movie. I thought it was pretty good. Had like good message and everything. So yeah, I liked that one. And other movie that everyone else seems to love. Oh, there are a few, like some huge classics. And like if it's made by Ridley Scott and it's not Blade Runner or Aliens, very big chance I don't necessarily like it.
Gladiator. Gladiator is good.
I like Gladiator. That's a good one. The Martian is also a really, really good one. But there are like other things, like these massive, huge things, like especially like there's like a little bit like on the artistic side. Then I can very quickly tend to find them pretentious. And if I find a movie to be pretentious, I instantly don't like it as a general thing. Other examples are, I had one or two. Oh yeah, Fede Alvarez, Don't Breathe. Everyone loved Don't Breathe. I fucking hate it. I can't stand
I didn't like it.
Yeah. Not everyone, but many people.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a few too, obviously. I mean, I didn't hate Morbius. I didn't hate The Exorcist. But I mean, there's plenty of movies that I love that, you know, a lot of people think are garbage, I'm sure. But I mean, I'm trying to think offhand of anything that is pretty unpopular. I mean, I never hated Howard the Duck, for instance, or, you know, I kind of love bad movies in a weird way. Like sometimes, I mean, when they reach that pantheon of being so bad they're good kind of thing.
So that's like Hellraiser, Hellraiser, Hell on Earth, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, or whatever it's called.
Kinda, yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
so bad it's good film.
I mean, people
think-
kind of like that one though.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because possibly my second favorite Hellraiser is Hellraiser Inferno. I think that one is absolutely brilliant.
I don't hate 4 either. Like I like and especially maybe just because I like the idea of what it is. It's sad we never got a trilogy out of it like it was meant to be, but
Yeah, true. There you go,
Yeah.
Big Al Games, my dude.
but I
There you
always love
go.
shit like Ghoulies and stuff like that most people probably
Basket
wouldn't
Case?
like anyway. Oh God,
Or
fuck
Basket
yes, I love Basket Case. Yes.
Terrible.
What's in the basket?
That reminds me, The Phantom from 1996 with Billy Zane. Now,
That's a good
there's
one
an
there,
I like,
underrated
I
movie.
like that. That was
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I'll. You need to see the black and white fan edit of it. I mean, that's a completely different experience.
That'd be
Yeah.
good. That'd be good. Right. Fletcher McTaggy for $5 Canadian says Alvarez is a very good director, but the concept of Alien Romulus feels unnecessary and will likely be well directed. Alvarez should have directed Prey. I like Prey for what it was, mate. I'm not gonna lie. I like Prey. Dan Trachtenberg did a good job. Hate me, it's fine.
No, I just
Accent seller for 100 Norwegian kroner says Netflix's Alien Isolation. Ripley's trans daughter sets out to find his mum's fate, but far more pressing, unraveling patriarchal conspiracies of Weyland-Yutani and their misgendering of their android workers.
oh,
Don't
good
give them
grief.
ideas. I mean, have you seen what Disney just did to Doctor Who?
Oh, we've already covered that, mate.
Yeah.
We'll have a big section on
Oh,
that.
I thought of one. Superman 3. I actually love Superman 3 a lot
Okay.
more
Oh,
than a
so
lot of
do
people
I.
do.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what.
Film? That's a good film.
That's
I know,
my
but it gets
favorite
bashed all the time.
of the Christopher Reeve movies. That's honestly my favorite ones, because that's the one I kind of like grew up with in a sense.
It's not my favorite, but I think it's overly bashed and it has a lot of stuff to offer that
Oh,
people
yeah, for
overlook.
sure.
Another one I just watched that I don't think people like or even probably remember much, but U.S. Marshals with Tommy Lee Jones, the sequel to The Fugitive. You never even heard? See, Mr. H doesn't even know. Yeah, nobody else remembers this one. You remember The Fugitive, right, with Harrison Ford? Okay, this is him coming back, him and the whole entire crew from the first movie coming back, playing the same roles, but there's a new fugitive. This time it's Wesley Snipes.
Oh yeah,
It's called U.S. Marshals.
U.S.
Yeah,
Marshals.
I
Yeah,
will
I,
have to check
actually,
that
yeah.
out then.
I have that on.
Interesting.
I like
DVD,
it.
I think.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a
Wesley
guilty pleasure
Snipes-
of mine.
Wesley Snipes was becoming quite the action star at the time, so that was a very action.
Yeah.
See, Peter in the U.S. Marshals was trash. Fuck me. See, I told you. So there's an actual one that actually works with the point being made. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, this is a fun topic. I like it.
Yeah. Fletcher McTaggy sent in another $5 Canadian says Ridley Scott also messed around and had conflicts during the production of Blade Runner 2049. Yeah.
Dude,
Tom Wilkinson.
that dude now is like the epitome of F around and find out, you know.
Yeah. I'm surprised he's still able to work, to be honest, just because he's just a hassle to deal with. Tom Wilkins sent in $2 says Ridley Scott needs to have an heir apparent. Yeah.
I think they're kind of already. I would say Denny Villeneuve is probably the better version of Ridley Scott already.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, yes.
I like Denny's films. I think he's really good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a visionary. Plus, he can tell you a story without having to do 12 different cuts.
But he gets up his own ass. He's like it's sometimes
Well,
he's very self-indulgent. I mean,
That's okay sometimes. See, some directors, I don't mind that if they do it sparingly in the right way. Sure, I did not care for The Arrival as much as a lot of people did. I thought it was good, but I hated the ending. I thought the ending was kind of
I still
just
think
convoluted, but
I enjoyed the first part Dune, the first Dune film.
I loved it.
I really like Dune.
Okay. That being said, I will say that there are elements of that film that were self-indulgent. There was shots that just went on too long. I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
I only had 2 complaints about the new Dune. The score, which everybody already knows.
Oh, that's garbage.
Good.
It's not
I'm
a
glad
score.
someone else agrees with me. I hate
Because it's not a score, it's just noise.
Yeah,
Andre
it's
likes
not.
it.
We did a whole
hate it.
video about how
You did a whole
awful
video.
that score is. Yeah.
I got lambasted in my review for hating the score.
Oh God.
It's not a score. It's noise. It's like ambiance.
I will never forget, because remember, I saw that movie like months before the rest of you guys, because for some cosmic imbalance, to this day I have no idea why, but it opened in Norway, and Norway only, like 2 months before the rest of the world. And so like I reviewed it live on stream, and like Tom, you were the first one that was like, oh, I just hope that it's a proper score this time, and just like not just like noise. I was like, oh, no, that's what it is. This is just noise. There's no melody here, just noise.
The other thing I was going to say was, the only other thing I didn't like about it was they didn't have. I liked the voiceovers in Lynch's Dune. I like how that let us in on what the characters were thinking. I thought some of the best dramatic moments in Lynch's Dune, and we use it all the time. Andre knows what I'm talking about. Here it comes, and stuff like that. Just the little thoughts people are having. Like, to me, that's the only thing that felt like it was missing. Otherwise, but no,
I actually think, upon reflection, that the alternate Redux cut of David Lynch's Dune is the better Dune movie still.
It might be.
I think it's better than
I have to hold that out until we see the second part of Denny's. But then the other two directors I was going to say were obviously Quentin Tarantino. I love it when he just gets uber self-indulgent, just because I love the same shit he does.
But he's
then Nolan, I know, but then Nolan won me back with Oppenheimer, right? I hated Tenet, but I liked Oppenheimer. So
there's a good example for a movie that everyone else likes, but I think that Oppenheimer is overrated as fuck, and it was so much better when it was called, what's it called again? Like the 80s version of it, with Dwight Schultz as Oppenheimer.
The Project, Manhattan Project.
No, it's not. That's not what it's
not
called.
That one.
The mini series about him.
No, it's a movie. It's a movie. Dwight Schultz.
It's not the Manhattan Project. What the hell is it called?
Right.
Well, you'll have to send that off to me, and I'll give my comparison. But yeah, no, I was surprised how much I actually liked it, because I'm not generally a Nolan fan.
Nolan. You know what? You guys bag on Tenet. I know, but you bag on Tenet, and that pisses me off, because I thought it was a fine film.
Oh, that's sucked to high heavens. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I like Tenet. I like Tenet.
Well, and that's where I say that Nolan is one of those directors. The fact that we're having this debate right now just goes along with my point, right? He is one of those that has earned the right once in a while to be a little self-indulgent. And that's my 3 directors right now. And James Gunn would be the other one, but I don't want to say that with Superman and DC, though.
Go, Sadie, go.
Go, Sadie.
Right. Mick K has been on the screen for a long time. Mick K has been a member for 32 months. Thank you so much, dude.
That's how long he was on screen, ironically.
Hey?
I said that's how long he was on screen, ironically. 32 months, yeah.
Pretty much. Become a member of the channel, guys. Support the show. George B for $5 says, I really like The Shadow. I guess a lot of other people don't like it, and I'm not sure why. Yeah.
I know why. It was too ahead of its time, because back in the 1990s, they did a bunch of movies from like 1930s, 1940s heroes. And I don't know exactly why it happened, but that's basically how that's when you got The Shadow. You got The Phantom. You got The Rocketeer, which granted wasn't from the 30s or 40s.
They're redoing that, you know that, right?
Yeah, I know, but it was set there. There was like this brief way.
You're missing one more.
I'm sure I'm missing a couple in there as well.
Dick Tracy, and then the answer to your question is Batman.
Yeah. But anyway, all of them, they just came at just the wrong time in a sense. Yeah, it wasn't the right time for those movies. But if you go back and you look at them now, you see how ahead of their time they actually were. Those movies, they were, I would say, a decade ahead of their time. Or close to, maybe not a decade, but at least 5 years ahead of their time. Those movies, if they had come out closer to the year 2000, I think they would have been huge hits. But right there, it was Batman. It was the age of Batman. It wasn't the age of the 1930s pulp era characters.
Yeah, they saw that in part of it. The fact that Tim Burton like really dove into the noir side of Batman. That's where all those came out of. And like Dick Tracy's one of those that we were talking about earlier, where I just love that fucking movie. Love it
I
from beginning to end. And
I
it's because it's a visual feast. Is it a good movie? Not
No.
really.
No.
It's just a
But
visual
Right.
feast.
Let's get one more super chat in. Accent Seller says Arrival, but the 0G CGI hair kind of ruined it. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that part either. I just thought the ending was dumb with the time travel stuff.
I thought it was fun.
That'd be the same as.
Yeah, I thought that was fine too. I don't mind that one.
Yeah. Arrival. Meh, it was all right, I guess. I'm not like, oh, it was amazing. It was okay. It was.
Contact, on the other hand, that one sucked to high heavens.
What a waste of a great book. Good gravy. Get me started on that.
Oh, don't get me started on The Relic. Now, there was a great book that could have made for a great movie that they completely utterly botched.
The boss is getting mad. We got to shut up.
I'm not kidding. It's just funny. We still got guys, right? The chef a lot again.
Did we just do this?
Same stinger, different bit of news.
Oh.
So this is for the Alien TV series. It all came around the same time. So we're talking about it basically. Same stinger. Do apologize. Timothy Oliphant has joined Noah Hawley's FX TV series. Now, this is the Alien thing. The casting update that they give in this article via Deadline, because this is an exclusive, it actually confirms leaks that AVP Galaxy, friends of my channel, had given out before, which I'd covered. It actually confirms basically everything. So
Wow.
It's interesting, basically. So let's just take a look. Timothy Oliphant is reunited with Noah Hawley, because obviously he worked on Fargo and stuff. Details about Oliphant's character are not being disclosed. I hear he plays Kirsch, a synthetic who acts as a mentor and trainer for Chandler's Wendy, who is a hybrid, a metahuman who has the brain and consciousness of a child, but the body of an adult. Because the other cast members, there is Samuel Blenkin playing Boy Cavalier, a CEO. Now, he's a CEO, not of Weyland-Yutani. He's the CEO of Prodigy Corporation. You can kind of guess where we're going with this. Prodigy Corporation, prodigies, prodigals. And his corporation is intent on creating the ability to transfer human consciousness into synthetics. And they literally do that. And that's kind of part of, the sort of key elements of this show. Not really sure where the aliens fit into this. It's set on Earth, so they are on Earth, but it's interesting nonetheless. And he's going to be playing the mentor to this child that was flung into an adult's body and is now a synthetic. I really like Timothy Oliphant. I think he's great. What do we think about this?
I don't mind Timothy Oliphant, but this whole storyline is starting to sound an awful lot like some Ridley Scott AI bullshit that belongs in Blade Runner, but not in Alien. I mean, see, this is why I'm worried. This has Ridley Scott's fingerprints all over it, and it's fine in Blade Runner. It belongs in Blade Runner. It doesn't belong here. Alien was never about the synths. It was never about the androids. I get that Ridley Scott is obsessed with them, but I really wish that he would just get that Alien is about the xenomorphs and not the androids. I mean, how is this so hard for him to understand?
Well, because he thinks the beast is done. Remember, that's that quote, that famous quote. The beast.
Yeah, it's done because he killed it.
I don't know. I liked Timothy Oliphant then. I first started to catch wind of him as an actor because he did Hitman and then he did Justified. He was so good in Justified.
He's been good in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, he's just a great actor.
He was in Deadwood. I mean, he was incredible in Deadwood.
Yeah.
You should see that series if you haven't.
No.
Yeah, I mean, what the talent in that show was ridiculous as far as acting goes. But yeah, no, I mean, Oliphant's always a good catch. Everything he does, I appreciate for the most part. Um, I mean, that's a win, but if the story's garbage, it's not going to matter. So
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Well, what you've heard about the story, what do you think?
I'm kind of with Andre. I mean, I would like to focus more on the creatures.
Mm,
I get enough of the android thought processes, and that fascination sometimes is too overwhelming for a good story to be told. So, um, I think it's interesting. I think we'll get a backstory that the kid had to be put. This child had to be put. Their consciousness had to be put into this synthetic, probably because they had been infected physically with one of the aliens. That would be a guess, right? That somehow they yeah.
so that's not, yeah, don't know. That's not really what the leaks have been saying thus far. We
Uh,
don't know. That's a good guess, though.
well, I mean, I would speculate
Might be
because
the
if I were going
direction
to
they
write the
go in.
story, I'd say that this was the only survivor of an infestation. And,
Well, except
you
there
know,
are no survivors then, because again, as usual, whenever you have this kind of copying of mind, that child is
The
dead.
golem.
oh, I
The
agree
only
with you.
thing that you have
Yeah.
is that just to make everyone else feel around, you now have a copy of the child's memories installed into some abomination in the eyes of God.
Mm,
Child is dead,
I
and
agree
you're
with you.
dealing with a
yeah.
replica.
Well, okay, so you are like me that you probably ascribe to the same thing that when you use a transporter and it disassembles you, you're dead. And it
I
reassembles
I
you somewhere else.
I
That's a
spent years trying not to think about that, but yes, that is kind of like how the only way you could kind of like rationalize why they accept Robo Picard in the new seasons of
Fucking
Picard, right?
Robo
Because
Picard.
they all die every time they use a transporter anyway, so they're kind of like used to it.
Yeah, and
I mean,
it's the same idea that I had with altered carbon. I was like, okay, well, that person's dead. You can sleeve them into a new body, but that person's dead every time. So anyway, it is
yeah.
what it is.
But anyway, Culture, I have something to cheer you up.
Hmm.
If you go and check the private chat right now, I just made your life complete.
Ooh.
Well, anyway, Tom, what do you reckon to do with Timothy Oliphant joining the cast? Yay, nay, don't really care. Probably don't really care.
Oh,
Tom's dead.
Hercules.
All right, cool. Anyone else want to comment on this? We get some flow going back to this show now.
Yeah, my final comment is Ridley Scott, please just retire to Blade Runner. It's fine. I mean, it's okay. Seriously, like I like Blade Runner. I think it's a very worthwhile franchise. The animated series was good. Blade Runner 2049 is good. I'm excited for the
He's returning
series.
to it, right?
I
The
know,
series.
and I'm perfectly okay with that because that is kind of like the one place where his talents actually kind of like fit. He's a good fit
By
with Blade Runner.
talents, you mean obsession with androids?
Yeah, okay, fine. Where his obsession with androids actually fits.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. All right. Goodness me. Right. Are we ready to shuffle on to a topic which kind of breezed in here as we were rocking
Yeah.
up and rolling
Go
on
for
this
it.
show?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So there's a new Fallout series for Amazon, and as you could probably guess it, who's our lead? It's a Whammon, of course. Why would it not be? Now that's not it's not inherently bad, of course it's not. But is this probably everything that you expect it to be? Yeah, probably, because it's released on Amazon Prime for starters.
Can we take a moment to address the fact that this first look is in Vanity Fair, the propaganda outlet?
But it was the same people that did Rings of Power, wasn't it? And then when they reviewed it, they were like, "Yeah, it's terrible." Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So it was Vanity Fair that released those stupid little intro videos for Rings of Power, wasn't it, of all the characters? And then they reviewed it. It was like, yeah, it's not very good.
I think it was Entertainment Weekly that actually had the videos, but it doesn't matter. They all kind of hedged their reviews, and then when it was all said and done, I don't know. I don't remember too if many. Was there any of the major outlets that really gave it a glowing review? I don't think so.
No one basically. So look, I want. Let's all just look at the images first, I guess. So this is this is our lead, emerging from Vault 33. It doesn't. There's lens flares galore. The set piece doesn't look that great. Like it just you know, this is probably one of the most expensive looking sets, right? It's the same character, Lucy. But then we go down to stuff like this, and I'm just like, this looks better from what you can see now, guys, through StreamYard. The actual article itself doesn't look that good. And this looks like they've just replicated the same CG model because the markings on all of the armor are identical. Like everywhere, it's identical. That's just a replication, isn't it? I mean, it's just cheap.
Yeah, there was little effort put into this.
I mean, like these are supposed to be battle damaged power armor. Like this is just one model that they've replicated however many, 5 times, 4 times. That's dog shit.
It is the Brotherhood, but I mean this kind of
they are battle damaged. They've been in battles,
right?
You know,
I'm not going to
my
fight
power
you
armor. They didn't look that good all the time, did they? They looked all beaten up and stuff.
Outside of one of my favorite actors being in this show, I didn't have any faith in it. I knew that when you put Nolan and Joy together on a project, it's going to be WAF, woke as, add your last word there. But it is. And it's, I mean, outside of Goggins, there's nothing here for me. And that's sad because I am a huge fan of the game franchise. Huge.
This is probably the only thing that looks reasonable. Like, I think this actually looks okay. It's still bad compositing.
Yeah.
And then I really like the games as well. This, Tom, this is your sitcom 60 frames a second level, high def, 4K, OLED, ultra clear image. What the piss is this?
I don't even know what a Fallout is.
Well, it's a video game, but the point is...
is it on the Sega Mega Drive?
Terrible. Yeah, sure. This looks terrible.
If it was, I would have known of it.
Not bad.
It looks kind of like a...
Well,
and then this is Walton Goggins.
And of course, now it's a reason to watch this because Walton Goggins,
like Walton.
He's amazing. He's the best actor of this generation.
Well, he plays a bounty hunter, the Ghoul. Obviously, he's a ghoul. He's a mutated human that lived on the...
Looking forward to his backstory already.
Which I'm going to love. This is going to suck. I'm going to be so torn.
Yeah, I just...
Just listening to your reactions, I think that ironically, it's me and Tom who are in the best position to actually find some kind of enjoyment in this. Because
no, wait, you're not. You are not. Let me just read what Jonathan Nolan said. The games are about the culture of division and haves and have-nots. Unfortunately, have only gotten more and more acute in this country and around the world over the last decade. That sounds like some political stuff, don't you think?
Of course it is. They're one of the leaders in propaganda, masking as entertainment.
So many of us have such naive ideas, even now, about everyone else's experiences. And it's one of the things I love about America. It's this giant manic collection of different experiences, different points of view. Lucy, this is the lead, is charming and plucky and strong. Of course she is. And then you see she's confronted with the reality of, hey, maybe the supposedly virtuous things you grew up with, white privilege, are not necessarily that virtuous. If they are virtuous, they're couched in a circumstantial virtuousness, in a luxury virtue. You have your point of view because you never ran out of food, right? You guys were able to share everything because you had enough to share.
Oh God, yeah. Now we are right back to what culture said. Like this is going to be WTF.
Told you.
Yeah, but as I said, like that is going. Like none of us are going to enjoy those aspects of it. But what I meant to say was that since you guys are familiar with the game, that's going to be like an extra bother to you. That not only is it woke, but they're going to mess up the game here. Whereas in the case of Tom and myself, we're not going to be able to see how they have deviated from the game because the game is not on the Sega Mega Drive. So the only thing that we'll see is like the visuals, which I'm sure it will be fantastic in their own right, and what probably could be a very, very cool thing since it has Walton Goggins. Unfortunately, it also has all this wokery that's going to ruin everything no matter what. And of course, we don't blame Goggins. He has to. He needs his paycheck too. But yeah, it's like a shame because he's going to be the best thing in this, and it's going to ruin something that he is in because of the freaking wokeness.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Terrible. I think anyway. Well, Culture, you've played the games. What do you think of this? Because I mean, I'm looking at this set piece and I'm like, eh.
I think visually there's going to be some elements I enjoy already. There are elements that do look like they're completely out of place. I agree. There's, going to be, because they've had experience at doing some pretty interesting things in a Western style. Because this is, this clearly is going to come into a lot of Western scarcity and things like that. It might look somewhat decent. But if it has the current day politics and the quote unquote modern audience storytelling, this is absolutely ruining something in a this is supposed to be post-apocalyptic. This is supposed to be the strong survive situation. This is supposed to be, told differently. And if they dive into the modern themes and not the the post-apocalyptic themes that Fallout resides in, then it's doomed. You'll have wholesale rejection by the video game audience. So,
Oh, well, the thing is, the only reason they started to do this is because they were on the decline with the video games anyway.
well, yeah, well, that's because Bethesda sucks balls, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys.
They sound like a witch too, with their name and everything. But yeah, that's a different matter.
First look at Fallout.
She has really long pinky.
They might, maybe it might just be the angle.
All right,
like hands a bit more forward, or I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not that excited by it. Let's put it that way. I'm not that excited for it. We've had some terrible adaptations lately. I'm not excited for this, and it's Amazon, which at the moment the jury's out on them. All right, the jury's out. They've made some good stuff. All right, Terminal List. That's great, and they've made some absolute garbage. They pour endless amounts of money into.
Can I add the distinction to when they make good stuff and when they make bad stuff? Because there's a reason why.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. When they make good stuff, that's because that is because their very own Kathleen Kennedy is busy overseeing some other project, so she can't go and put some chicken, make it gay into the other thing that's not on her radar. That's what happened with Terminal List Season 1. Because Amazon's Kathleen Kennedy, whose name is what's her name again? Tom, help me out. Someone help me out here. That bitch that ruined Conan or
Jennifer Sulkey.
Jennifer Sulkey, thank you. Because she was busy overseeing season 1 of the Ranks of Power and of the Wheels of Time. All of these things, they got her personal attention. That's why those things suck. But she can only do so many things at once. Where something like the Kill List, I was like too small profile, wasn't worthy of her time. So it got away unscathed. That really, I'm not even joking. That is the
Yeah, I
that
can
is the
believe that.
factor. It's how much personal attention is the project going to get from Jennifer Salke and her cronies. If it gets their attention, it'll be horrible. If they're otherwise
Yeah.
occupied, it has a shot at being good.
Yeah, no, I can believe that. I can believe that. Well, there you go. Bloody Fallout. Oh dear. We've got some super chats to get to real quick before we shuffle on. So we've got one from we've got two actually, sorry, from Ob Julio. So $5 says Bethesda has dumbed down the franchise for normies. Fallout is going to be based on their poorly written fan fiction version series. I agree. Continues for $10. Says only Fallout 1, 2, and New Vegas were made by the original creators. They had one more chance at the game with New Vegas. Bethesda had bought the IP in a bid when Interplay went into bankruptcy. Did not know that actually. That is news to me. But yeah, I'm not excited. Let's put it that way. And neither is Culture by the looks of it. Tom working for $5 says, okay, was going to stop. Long-time Fallout idiot from Wasteland to Fallout 1. The outlook was ambiguous morality and how the center didn't hold. I don't think it's going to be that now, though. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that. But I can see it as a lecture on like privilege, to be fair. Captain Fandom Nerd, brilliant name, has been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much, chap. Do appreciate it. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. So, shall we shuffle off to our next topic? I think we shall.
Go for
Well, that was terrible, wasn't it? Wish absolutely cratered. Goodness me, it did terribly. $200 million for something that looked like this, and it absolutely bombed at the box office. Very, very, very bad. I think globally it took $50 million global or something like that.
Yeah, in one whole week, in one full week. When you say something like that, the correct answer is actually less than $50 million in its first full week worldwide. Now, granted, there are some markets that it hasn't opened in yet, but these are only like minor markets. It has opened in the big markets where Disney movies tend to make money. It's open in those markets. And it was universally rejected in all of them. I'm sure Culture has more details on that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think there are still 27, or there were as of the weekend, about 27 other markets for it to open up in. But in the biggest markets that it could possibly reach, it opened very poorly. China was represented very poorly. All the other international markets it opened in were very poorly representing their participation at the box office. I don't think I've ever seen a film promoted so widely and previewed in so many different ways, including a Saturday super secret early preview that wasn't so secret, that brought in $500,000 the Saturday before it was supposed to go to theaters. So when they started doing previews on Tuesday, essentially they were basically going 7 days on this film. This is a 7-day weekend box office failure. It's extraordinary.
It's so bad.
And again, we just
$200 million.
we started well we one of the first things we covered here today, if you just are joining us, folks, was we were talking about Disney's recognition of the fact that they're basically destroying themselves and what the risks are of destroying themselves. Well, this is part of destroying yourself.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be a film that celebrated 100 years of Disney animation.
I love that part. That's so funny to me. The year, their centennial year, the year that celebrates their 100 years, and also the movie that actively celebrates their 100 years. So they can bomb after bomb in the year that they're celebrating their 100 years, right? Every Disney movie opens with this like 100-year thing. Oh, Disney 100. Bomb, 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 bomb.
Well,
Disaster,
Nate,
disaster.
there was a strike. Okay.
Oh, of course. I forgot about
The
yeah, I
audience
forgot
was
about
on
that.
strike from going to see Disney movies.
Whoa.
Oh, it's so funny to me. And then this movie, again, the movie which directly is supposed to celebrate their 100 years, $200 million looks like absolute. I mean, look, I shit better looking things than this. Do you know what I mean? This is terrible. So $200 million for this. It's an absolute joke. And this bombs as well. The movie, this specific film to celebrate it. So funny. Because was it Strange World like a massive failure for Disney, like a huge?
Oh yeah,
They're like
no. In fact,
130,
this film is
150 odd million or
is
something like that.
yeah, this film is still not on par with Strange World, but it's close. And
Mm,
again, this is multiple. This is 2 Thanksgivings in a row that Disney freaking choked it, and in a bad way. And I'm not seeing a good film coming out of Disney for possibly 2 to 5 years at this point. And
yeah.
I'm even including the other brands like Marvel and Star Wars and,
Mm.
Pixar. I don't see a good movie coming out of Disney. And that should surprise people because I was saying, you know what, Deadpool 3 might be good. I have very low expectations for Deadpool 3 now.
No, I can believe that, and
Well, they're certainly not going
I'm
up.
fully on side with you for that as well.
But when you spend $200 million on a piece of animation, it should look sparkling. It should be dazzling. It should be gorgeous. And you spend a lot of money on the story. You spend a lot of money trying to make it musical because that's one of the ways that you make money with these animated films. Disney knows where their bread is buttered. And not one of these songs is worth your time or your purchase. They are terrible. And they try to use those songs to promote the film. They released the films from the soundtrack every once in a while to try to entice people to be interested in them. And they don't
Mm,
sound good. And the lyrics are nonsensical.
yeah.
Can
It's
I also say that the animation is also nonsensical because the whole
well,
thing it kind of like looks like it's AI generated the whole darn thing. It looks like
Yes.
an adventure games for the Nintendo Switch, which you
It
will
looks
know.
like cutscenes from a PS2, like a QuickTime event from PS2.
Yeah, like one of
Real
those
bad.
things where they have like cheapened out. Like it looks kind of like partially inspired by the animation style seen in the animated Spider-Man movies and in
Mm,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, only the ultra cheap version of it. Like it looks
yeah.
really cheap.
Oh, so bad. It's so funny. So funny.
Yeah.
But that leads us nicely, actually, off to this. Well, apparently it was a disaster behind the scenes, so it's not really a surprise. This comes to us from Chris Gorton Allen. Do you want to summarize this culture? I don't know if you want to.
You're
You're on
muted,
mute.
Culture.
Good one, mate.
so Chris and Alan were on their live stream. Film Threats channels primarily live streams. They don't do traditional news, but they did a really nice job talking about all of the shortcomings for this film, only to find out because of their critiques, specifically Alan Ing's critique, they were getting contacted by animators and people that had left Disney or were involved in part of this project, describing all of the many reasons why it ended up being complete garbage. And
Mm,
the word that was used most often, if you read through this article, the reason that this film tanked was because of activists. Activists. And there's a name in here, the boss that at Disney Animation. Her name is Jennifer. Hang on, Jennifer. Goodness.
I couldn't
Uh,
find is that's in there. I couldn't find it in there.
yeah, it's somewhere in there. I know I have. I was gonna make a clip for this, but didn't end up doing so.
I didn't see it.
Jennifer Lee. That
Yeah.
name is going to be synonymous with KK in the very near future, because she is one of these hardcore, true believer, super intersectional woke feminists.
Mm.
And she has put every bit of herself and her influence into Disney's animation to make
Terrible.
to make this work. And there are a lot of countries that still have traditional values and religion and ethics and things like that.
Everything that's not the West.
Yeah,
Literally every
and
single country that's not
and
the West.
and those countries are turning away um, from Disney films and brand as a whole. This is not good, and this film is I guess right now the current example of everything that's bad with Disney, including the fact that the film, the Jennifer Lee and other people involved in this project describe her character Asha as an activist.
I can believe that. Like, really? But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I can believe it on. Yeah. I say I can't believe it. I can believe it, obviously.
But this
Oh, and
paragraph
I've been
towards
dealing with those fuckers all week.
you
Activists.
were, but the paragraph here at the top it says kind of it all. The pressure from management to hire people based on their sex and ethnicity over talent caused much friction, and many of the talented animators of the past, Disney greats, left in frustration, leaving behind a culture where the remaining people are being suppressed and are afraid for their jobs. The anonymous sources that reached out to Chris and Alan um, used the word activist to describe what was going on and how such people were openly attempting to overthrow the traditional animators and talents in the company. And, you can add another layer to this because I'm not sure it's expressed here in the article, but they actually will hire Disney legends and people that are qualified, bring them in to consult on projects. And this is for both film and physical stuff like Imagineering. And then they will tie their hands and mouths with an NDA. They call it a golden gag. And it makes it so they can't speak out against the travesties that are being committed, in whatever forms they take place, whether it be animation, live action films, or of course, the parks and resorts and experiences. It is a shit show inside of Disney.
Oh, this so funny. It's so funny. Andre, do you want to add anything to that? Do you, do you want to go watch Wish with your little ones or anything like that? Yes, no, you keen on that? Andre's dead.
Andre's dead.
Cool.
No, Andre
Tom.
was muted.
Oh.
I wanted to say that, yeah, in a sense, I kind of already have. So
Oh.
I have, in a sense, I have already seen the version of it, by which I mean I've seen it in Spanish, which means that I saw what happened on screen. I partially tuned out because most of what was said went straight over my head. But what I got from the story is kind of like what I got just from looking at it, and it's very, very clear that activists indeed have taken this whole thing over. There's nothing traditional Disney about this, because basically it's like the king, who apparently is played by Chris Pine in the American version, and by all accounts, he's a good king because his land is a prosperous land. Everyone is happy. No one is suffering. Everyone has it awesome. In fact, they start the movie singing about how awesome everything is. They make cakes and everything in the likeness of this king because everything is so unbelievably cool under his rule, right? But it turns out that he's a little bit problematic because he's white and he's a little bit arrogant. He might send some nasty tweets here and there and stuff. He might want people to adorn him. I mean, small prices to pay for being in a really awesome land, but a too high price to pay, because the moment that they figure out that, oh, this guy right here, he really is a little bit problematic. He really could have done better for us. He didn't give us everything we wanted. I mean, we wanted all of these wishes, and he gave us everything he could, but it wasn't quite good enough. So let's depose the motherfucker. I mean, that really is the story. That
the
is
moral of the story is entitlement.
yes,
Fantastic.
yes, exactly. And then you have like this song
People.
that he's singing. I heard the English version of the song later, where he's like basically singing all the stuff that he has done for the people, and like, and this is the thanks I get. And of course, this is where it's meant to show what a horrible, evil white man he is, because he will constantly offer the services of his employees to help people in need, because
He's a king.
when instead the movie kind of like, no, but you need to do this personally, you need to do better. It's not
He's
good
a king.
that you actually solve all the problems. Someone has a problem and you offer your servant Pablo to go and help or something, or Raul or whatever, then that's problematic. They're completely missing the point that he's actually solving the issue and he's doing what's right for the people. Not good enough. He needs to be
Oh my God.
And it's one of those things where you actually find yourself in agreement with the villain.
Fucking hell, Disney, you're terrible these days. What the hell, man? That's so funny. That's so bad.
Yeah, and culture, you check the private chat again if you haven't seen it. Christmas come early this year.
There you go, culture. We'll get us some super chats now. So Peter Hewitt sent in $2, says, Culture, have you ever played Mall Santa before?
No, but I actually will be doing Santa Claus this year for an event coming up, but only one day. So
some like weird thing you're doing with your wife or something.
No.
All right, good, cool.
Come on,
No, that's me. The awkward thing is it's with his wife.
Oh boy.
I'm kidding, of course.
Should have seen that.
Anyway,
I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, well, culture, just chill. We don't like kink shame here. So whatever.
My apologies to the boss. Yes.
Running with Scissors sent in $5, says Lil Fallout series trivia. Walton Goggins was also in Justified, and Ella Purnell is the voice of Jinx in Arcane. I like Walton Goggins. I think he's great. So he will be the best thing in that.
So was Timothy Oliphant. I had stepped away when you guys were talking about him. Like, yes. That is the only good thing about that news. Sorry. I agree with you guys for the most part from what I heard, but yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Fletcher McTaggy sent in $10 Canadian, says another trend is the loss of distinctive voiceover artists. Yeah, you're right. Actors are hired for their names, but not their voices. We get Chris Pine, Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, who are not good at voiceovers.
Tell me about it.
You are completely right. The voice actor is now not a thing, really.
We have become extinct.
Oh my God. Well, it's true. It's true. Yeah, it's true. They have just disappeared. So it is a bit bizarre. But ladies and gents, that about rounds us up here. So culture, take it away real quick. What have you got going on? Promote some stuff.
Dropped a video today. You should check that out. It's pretty good. Talking about Wish specifically. You'll hear the insights very similar to what I said, but a whole lot more and a little bit more passionately. I also do a 6-minute daily program on weekdays. Gives you 6 minutes worth of news faster than you're going to get it anywhere else. So check that out. And oftentimes I'm found hanging out here and with Midnight's Edge. So check them out. And that's that.
Andre?
Are actually working on a video right now in this moment. Tom, when do you think that we can have it ready to drop? I would love to have it ready in like 2-3 hours.
Tuesday next week.
Oh, that won't do. 2-3 hours.
I don't know about 2-3 hours. I got a show in 20 minutes, but yeah, we'll see here. Yeah, you always dump this on me when I'm busy. That's the problem.
God, guys.
We got deadlines. We're always behind them. So yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
Tom.
Yeah, I'm made in like 20 minutes.
All right, cool. Just creeping in real quick was High Def. Says, what do you think of Denzel Washington playing Hannibal? He was a Kang. Shouldn't be doing it. They need to. That's not good.
Denzel Washington is an amazing actor. That being said, I do not. I mean, you can say the same thing about Robert De Niro, but I wouldn't want him for Hannibal either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad casting. But Denzel Washington is one of these people that profusely always says, "No, reject color, reject these, race issues, etc." all the time. So maybe that's the lens he's viewing it through. Maybe.
One can hope.
Hopefully. What's going on with me? Usual bits and pieces. I said during the stream I'm going to try and get to see Godzilla -1. It's obviously not for a few weeks for me anyway. Thursday's live show, you will get a Godzilla -1 review from both Culture and Tom. So please do tune in to Thursday's Hcast. It is at 7 p.m. UK time. You know where you live. You can check out the time zone differences. You guys can do that. You're adults. But it's 7 p.m. UK time. So please do tune in because we will have Godzilla -1 reviews. Weekend's going to be really busy for me. I'm up in London again. Doing my master's degree, but there's loads of content coming out. I think I've made like 6 videos today, so no rest for the wicked. I'm smashing it out, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching your favorite podcast. We will be back on Thursday, so bring your questions, bring your attention, bring your cheery selves. We love entertaining you guys. From me and everyone else, thank you so much. We will catch you Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye now.